Good evening, one and all. Welcome back to Notte Eterna. I am your host and humble game master, Kevin, and we have returned for yet another arc here in the Eternal Night. I am joined by 4 new spectacular players who surround me now in the ether, stepping forth into this new arc, as it were. We hope that you are going to be here and enjoying what we do, because we are doing a brand new story that is going to be focusing on a different part of the world and a different little tie that it has into the history of the Eternal Night. So, if you are just tuning in for the first time ever, this is Notte Eterna. It is a new 5th edition setting, a campaign of a grimdark high fantasy world, which is put out by Ali Rebelli and was created by Jason Forbes. It is a game that had a very recent successful kick over on Kickstarter and is now on backer kit that you can get pre-order for the books that are coming out early next year. More on that later, but for now, let's go around and say who we are, what we're going to be doing, and get everybody really into everything that's going to be happening here. As I said, I'm your host, Kevin. I am found online at Kevran Games, and tonight I will be playing as the Dungeon Master. So I'd like to introduce my cool friends. You have seen them around, and if you have not, you are discovering some great folks tonight. So let's start right here on my side with the man, the myth, the legend, the Bleak Season. Hi, how are you doing, Bleak?
Oh, hey. I'm doing good. How are you doing, Kevin?
Fantastic. It's great to share a table with you again, my friend.
Absolutely, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm the Bleak Season. Do you want me to talk about the character, or just we didn't really figure out what you wanted?
Yeah, let's just have everybody say who you are, where you're found, and what character you're going to play. A quick little, just maybe a 1 sentence or 2 about your character, and we can dive into the story proper. And then at the end, we'll have plenty of time to talk about all the cool other things that we do.
Gotcha. So I am the Bleak Season. You can find me at the Bleak Season on Twitter and a bunch of other places. And tonight I'll be playing Kaewin Zethan, who is a karevi knight hospitalier. And is a bit of a strange karevi who believes that the reason why the world has been thrown into darkness is because the world of mortals was very wicked before and were being punished by the gods. So, I look forward to being proven right.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing him in action and you in action. So thank you for being here. Moving right along to another legend, probably the biggest name we have floating here. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about you, Creep.
Oh, God.
Darling Creep Show this would be on my screen. It's my left. You're right. That's how things work. Creep, please say who you are, what you're all about, and tell us who you're going to be playing. You're a very interesting, unique character. I'm excited to see in action as well.
Awesome. I am Darling Creepshow. I am just your resident creep on Twitch. I play TTRPGs like D&D all across the interwebs, and I also paint D&D miniatures. Tonight, I'm going to be playing Isa Vitdaughter, who is a wiloi, which is one of the special races specific to Notte Eterna, and I'll be playing an elementalist sorcerer with a specialization in cold, which is something I'm not I don't normally do, so I'm kind of a firebug normally, so this is gonna be super fun for me. She's a little bit more of a withdrawn, what's the best way to put it? She's very internalized with her feelings, a little bit more of a calm character than I normally play, so that's also gonna be, I'm kind of stepping out of all of my boxes tonight, so I'm super excited to jump into this, but yeah.
Awesome. I cannot wait. It's going to be great. So thank you very much for being here as well. This is a true honor to have you sitting here. So thank you.
Awesome. I'm excited, Kevin. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. Let's move on down below to the row below. This is going to be Tim, also no stranger to the online scene. Welcome, Tim.
Oh, thank you. I'm Tim. You can find me on Twitter for as long as it lasts at Blackmorphland. You can find me on a bunch of different channels right now, but I will be playing the only character who is a 5e race and not a new one. I'm a harengon. I'm a bunny named Pim, who is a treasure hound rogue, and the one sentence I'll say about him is prepare for extra.
Very nice. Yes. Tim, this is awesome. We've played before many a time, and this is going to be no exception to the greatness that you bring. So I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah.
And finally, they are not last. Well, they are last, but not least, of course, is more appropriate. Kay, hi, welcome to the table as well. We also have played together before, and I'm glad to be back with you. So tell us a little bit about you before we dive in here.
Yeah. Well, I'm Kay, or Kayden Cosmos. I do a lot of art stuff. That's it. That's all my intro is going to be.
Okay.
I'm playing Racket. Racket is a urakian fox man. So he's just basically a furry. He's just a fox furry man, kind of giving Peter Pan the Disney animated vibe. But maybe more of a beefcake. He's definitely been struggling through the dark long nights, as I think a lot of people in the world have. He has found some footing and some success as a bit of a mercenary, a hired hand. He seems pretty aloof. He's quick to smile, although if you catch him smiling at you when he thinks you're not looking, it might look like he has a few more teeth than he maybe should, or my, what big teeth you have kind of vibes. But it's just a trick of the light.
I'm sure it is. The trick of the light in this land of permanent darkness, indeed. So, Kay, thank you for being here. This is going to be so much fun. As you can see, folks, these are 4 amazingly talented people, and you will really see that in action here in just a moment. Thank you all for being here at home, and sit back and relax and join us now as we step into the Eternal Night, as we begin Arc 2, the Mage Discordance. Our vision this evening will open in a land that is brightly lit. Unlike our typical land of eternal night that we see, the opening that we find ourselves in is a bright, streaming sun. It beats down over a wide expanse of a kingdom that is very different than what we've been used to seeing. This is a time before the current struggles that we are facing ourselves in. In this moment, we see a single figure that steps in amongst a crowd of people, stepping forward with a long, regaled purple and amethyst robe. The figure has a very tightly cropped gray beard, and as he steps forward, he looks out over the distant horizon. There is a group of about 12 figures who step forward in direct opposition to him. As they do, we can see that they are all dressed in similar robes and different tunics and different sorts of attire that mark them as high-ranking individuals, perhaps nobility or royalty, leaders, as it were, of the people that he walks amongst. As the two groups look at one another, he encompassing the strength of an entire army within him with his magic, and them combined with their abilities, the equality of the two strengths of foes comes together in a stark contrast. In that moment, there is a blast from outside of our immediate view, a streaking of light that burns away the sun. The figures in attendance all seem to be held in complete and utter rapture, in complete stillness, as the sun behind them begins to set. It burns a streak out of the sky as it dips back below the horizon, and as it does so, the lone figure looks up to a celestial war that begins to rage. Meteors stream and streak out of the sky, slamming into buildings and rending them asunder. Because this is 161 years ago, and the sun sets over Nier for the last time. And in that moment, as the tyrant looks upon what he sows, the figures who stand to oppose him fade into the back. They begin to be swallowed up by the darkness. His eyes turn to meet ours, and they burn into our soul with a deep hatred and power that mark him as an enemy to all who will look upon him when he returns. And in this moment, a figure in our modern time of eternal dark awakens his eyes. It has been some time since Ulthane looked upon these things, since he saw the fall of the sky, and he turns to his companion, a fellow wiloi, a younger woman who also remembers the sky when it was lit and not full of dark as it is now. Althane is a figure. He is tall. He has long, flowing white hair, clean shaven. He is neither handsome nor unattractive, but he has a majesty about him that marks him as someone who also has strength and power. And as he stands next to the first of our figures who will feature into our tale that begins tonight, he looks upon Issa. You have seen the past as well as I. I believe a time of great change is upon us, Issa. Will you go upon a new duty if I ask it of you?
Of course. What do you ask?
He steps back from a shared viewing screen, a globe, as it were, that the two of you were looking at, and we will see, kind of briefly illuminated by the light of it as that light fades out, as that little vision that we saw, that opening battle, it streaks away and disappears into its globe. We look upon Issa Vidoter for the first time of this game. Creep, if you could, tell us what exactly does your character look like? Give us a physical description, maybe a little bit about her bearing, about her character, as it were, if you could.
You see a tall and willowy human. She's about 6'2". She stands elegant and poised in her demeanor. Her skin is pale alabaster, and it shines with almost an iridescent-like glow. She has long platinum blonde hair that falls in soft curls down her shoulders and back. She has watery blue eyes that glow hauntingly with a pale light. She's youthful in appearance and quite beautiful, and she's draped in elegant white silks with silver adornments and a silver diadem at her forehead.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And as he looks upon you, Issa, there is a certain connection that the two of you have. You have worked together for some time in the organization that is here. You are both scholars, meteor hunters, as it were, in this land. Part of your duties are to study the past and how it will affect the future. And the two of you have had recent conversations about part of the prophecy that actually speaks of now, in the 161st year of the eternal darkness, that a great change, a great calamity will ensue when a meteor streaks from the sky, and when it rains its fire down onto the land, it will bring about a great change. Just 3 days ago, one such meteor was seen streaking out of the sky. To most, it would be just another meteor, just another ball of fire that came from the heavens, but the two of you know that it is different. You know that it brings about this calamitous event. And as he looks to you with that knowing look, Althane speaks again. He says, "The time is upon us, Issa. We will need to secure the land and be sure that we are ready for the calamity. Will you take this charge to make sure that we are prepared? You must find a artifact, one that also came to us from the sky in the form of a meteor, and use it to look upon the land. Use it to discern what is necessary for the survival of all."
I have spent all my life for this, Althane. This is my destiny. I will do what must be done.
Of course. He gives you a nod, and he turns back again to this globe that's between the two of you. And as he waves his hand over it, there is a figure that appears in the globe, a figure that is actually a karevi, you can tell. Handsome, but has a sort of haunted look in his eye. He is a figure that is dressed in kind of like a rusty kind of colored shirt, and he looks like he has a great sense of loss in his eyes. He definitely has seen things that have changed him, and he points This will be the first that you will need. I have seen him in my most recent visions. I know he is here within the city. Will you seek him out and the others that he may help you find, so that you may secure this artifact that we need?
A karevi? Are you sure? Knowing their history.
In the past, they have not been a trustworthy sort, that is true, for their strength lies in the darkness, whereas ours lies in the light. But in this moment, when the darkness is threatened by the light of a great foe, we must learn to stand beside these differences and work together, as the prophecy speaks.
As you wish, Althane. I trust in you.
He gives you a deep nod, and then he turns back to the different papers and scrolls that he has about. The two of you are in one of the high arcane towers that are here within Deragos, which is a section of the Mageocracy of Nu, an archipelago of 13 different islands that exist off of the northern shore of the land of Nier proper. And in this moment, we will see, as viewers, as an audience, as the outside, the sides of the tower are covered in deep frost and snow. There is a blizzard of sorts that rages outside, perpetually shrouding this entire archipelago in ice and cold. But however, to you, it's a bit welcoming. You find strength in this because of your training, because of your deep connection with the land. The full moon outside gives you some of the powers of the cold, and so you pull those with you, you carry them with you as you make your way outside. More immediately, Althane has asked that you seek out this individual, this karevi, and that you return with him and some others that perhaps might come into the fold as well, based on your finding this karevi. And so it is that we will find you a short moment later as you walk along the streets of Deragos and you move your way through the island and find yourself in the areas here. Specifically, elsewhere, as you approach your destination, we will come upon a figure alone in a darkened room. And this figure, in this specific moment, is kneeling. His shirt is off, and we see a lattice work of crisscrossed scars across his back from a lifetime of bearing the punishment of the world upon himself as part of his faith. And the figure that we see slowly raises his head as he looks up towards the ceiling, a strange calling, as it were. In this moment, Kaywin, you sense that there's a great change coming, but you don't know exactly what part you'll play in it. But you know it's all part of the punishment of the land. It's part of the duty that you serve. In this moment, Bleak, if you could, please tell us a little bit about Kaywin, what he thinks and what he might be about, and describe him a little bit better than I might have alluded to previously.
Indeed. Kaywin is a karevi and is quite short, around 5 feet tall, very thin, very gaunt, nearly androgynous in looks, although his face is still retains perhaps a slightly more masculine angle to it. He has short red hair, which is kept slicked back, and his eyes are completely black owing to his nature as a karevi. He does, as you mentioned, have several scars on his body, many very, very old, others fresh, and he's, as someone who is vested in, as someone who is knowledgeable about the healing arts, he's probably taking care of them right now, because it's one thing to inflict them upon yourself, but, you know, sepsis is bad. As he senses this change, this momentous change, he is an archivist and is someone who has spent a lot of time trying to understand what it was exactly that angered the gods, and what wickedness was done, and how we might go about changing that. And in that way, he's very different from the other karevis who just sort of revel in the darkness and enjoy their ability to sort of hide in it and He's not saying he's, a fervent of the light, but he certainly believes the world should be lit. And so as he feels this change in the air, he will finish bandaging the fresher wounds that he has and put on his tunic and his weapons. He carries a shield and a sword. And if I may ask, where is he exactly? You said I was in a dark room, but, am I in jail? What's going on?
No, I think, well, it'd be partially up to you. I believe that we would find Kaywin in this moment. He basically is in a room that he has brought about for the silence of it to be to his prayers, be to his personal services of bearing the punishment of the world as part of his faith. So whether you are in an inn or you're in part of a library or some other place, I suppose would be entirely upon where he would feel safest to do that.
I think that he has found in a graveyard somewhere an old abandoned mausoleum, and this is where he goes to worship, because this mausoleum is opened at the top. The stone is cracked and part of the ceiling has come down, and so he gets to stare up at the sky as he does his ministrations. He has a little an item at his belt that tells him exactly what time of day it is, no matter when and where he is. So he will double check that, because he likes to know when he would normally be in daylight or things. He'll double check that and put that away, and then, having gathered all his effects, will step outside, and he's probably just like a little bit outside of town or something like that, and wondering what it is exactly that's sort of happening that's triggered this feeling in him that there's some sort of change happening. He'll probably want to head into town and try and find his companions, because if things are afoot, it's always best to have friends at your side. So he'll go into town and go looking for his friends.
Okay, absolutely. As Kaywin makes his way outside, the cold air bites at him for a moment, and even though they are bandaged, even though they are now under your clothing and your tunic and your armor, there is that icy wind that digs into your fresh wounds for a moment, and it is a fresh pain that awakens you. It brings you back into the moment. You can never forget the burden that you carry, especially in a moment like this. And with that pain comes a certain strange feeling of familiarity on the air. You don't know the figure that you see, who seems to, almost like an apparition, appear out of the frosty wind ahead of you, about 30 or so feet, but for some reason, you know her. You have a connection almost immediately as this figure steps forward. And wiloi, tall, beautiful, and as she steps forward, it is Creep's character, as it were. It is Issa. You don't know her name, or maybe perhaps who she is, but you know that she's coming for you. You're not sure how you know that, but you do, on some sort of strange level. The two of you see one another for a moment. You lock gazes, and in this moment, you inherently find yourselves walking towards one another.
I think as soon as we do sort of see each other and connect and realize that there's something at work here, he averts his gaze, and he will always, when he's talking to you, and in the near future, at least until maybe things change a little bit, he will always avert his gaze from you and never look directly at you. And as you approach him and he approaches you, he'll drop down to one knee, and again, with his eyes sort of averted, he'll say, "My lady, am I wrong in thinking that what brought me out of my reveries tonight was something to do with you? I feel as though there's light that shines in the darkness tonight that was not there before, and I feel as though it is in your palm that this light is held. Am I mistaken? I would not want to offend with presumptions."
She looks down at him very softly. Any suspicion that she would have had initially was quelled quite quickly by Althane. Do you know of a man named Althane?
I have heard of him, yes. I've not met him, of course. It's not my place to meet one such as he, but he is known to me.
He has sent me here for you.
Have I done something wrong? Have I offended him in some way?
He dreams of you. We believe that you're important.
I'm afraid you're sadly mistaken. That does not ring true to me in any way, shape, or form. My name is Kaywin. May I have the honor of knowing your name?
My name is Issa. Please, Kaywin, stand.
Yes, and he'll stand, but he still averts his eyes. Issa, that is the ice, is it not?
It is the stillness, yes.
Epics rest in the ice. Eras, ages long past. Perhaps even memories of light.
Yes, the light. I remember that.
You remember the light?
I do.
He really seems sort of affected, and he almost takes a step back and is like, I truly now am not worthy of being in your presence. I am sorry to sully your light with my shadow. He seems really kind of at a loss and sort of stepping around, not knowing what to do with himself.
She's gonna place a hand onto his shoulder and try to still him. Please. My master has seen you in his dreams. You must
Your
be
master
very
has poor
important.
dreams. If I may help in any way, of course I will, but I remain certain that, well, I would never say that one such as Althane or such as yourself would be mistaken about anything. How may I serve?
There is a great prophecy in the works, Kaywin. A star has fallen from the sky, a meteor. A great change is coming to near. And we must go find an artifact to help us. Will you come with us, Kaywin?
You are not speaking of the great change, are you?
I'm afraid so.
Then I truly am not worthy, but if my shadow, paltry as it is, may in any way, shape, or form aid you, I will serve you until it is extinguished.
Thank you. Now we must make some haste, though. Perhaps you have friends that could join us on this journey.
I do have friends. I'm suddenly just somewhat, well, my friends are a little strange.
This is okay.
Very well. Yes, two come to mind, two that I think may find an interest in this particular situation. They're not as well. They are perhaps someone more mercenary about things than I am, but I would certainly vouch for them. If they commit themselves to a cause, they will see it through. If you wish, I was on my way to meet them.
Let us go to them.
Yes, please. Come with me. And you'll do that really weird thing where he tries not to walk ahead of you, but knows that you have no clue where we're going. So there's just this really awkward kind of...
Absolutely. And as Kaywin leads you down the path into the city further, Issa, you will notice that he just has this certain demeanor about him. He definitely looks like he is carrying a burden. He stands slightly hunched a little bit, almost as if he has something heavy that he carries with him. But you can tell this is not something physical. It's something deeper than that. And we will find our attention drawn to a little bit ahead of them in a section a little bit further up in the city. The island of Daragos is one of the three main sections of the archipelago of the Mageocracy of Nu. And here specifically, Daragos is the more hub of trade. Military aspects are here as well. And so as we cut ahead a little bit, we will see that there is one of these barracks, one of these structures that houses some of this military might. And because it is established on a port nearby here, we will see that specifically what we have is a time and a place where people of different paths, people of different walks will emerge here. Some of them will be military, some of them will be traders, some of them will be people who have different purposes as well. One of these people with a different purpose is actually a, dare I say, strange figure, as Kaywin has alluded to already. A figure who we find in a tavern right on the port. Specifically in this tavern, this figure is a figure that actually is a humanoid, but bears the face of a fox, fur-covered body. This figure is one of the urakians, or people, beast folk as it were, that exist across near. In the recent past, when the original fall of the sky happened, magics awoke animals across the Ashen lands to the south and gave them prominence, gave them awakenedness. And the urakians are the main force of that. There's different paths, different appearances that they take, and this one specifically, as we mentioned, has a fox-like appearance. In this tavern, which is a little bit more bawdy, a little bit more loud than we saw the previous two individuals meet, if we could, Kay, tell us a little bit about Racket and exactly where we find them in this moment. What are they doing and how are they perceived?
Just for my what time of night is it?
It would be basically mid-early night, so this would be a few hours after evenfall. So it's basically, if we're going to use parlance that we outside of near in the real world would find, it would basically be like mid-morning. So it's that kind of time.
Yeah. Oh, I think that works regardless. In so far as, you know, it's the middle of the morning. We are in a little bit of a rowdier, bawdier part of town. I think that Racket has already started a bit of commotion with like a darts game, and has gotten everyone really rowdy and really into it. And he's been competing and yelling across the bar at people and just causing a bit of a stir.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
If you could, for the first roll of this arc, could you roll 3 d20s for me and just tell me what the three of them are? You can go ahead and add your dexterity modifier if you'd like.
Sure.
That's how much damage you're taking.
That's it. Yep, exactly.
Perfect. So I hope these are good rolls. The second is a 15 plus 4, which is 19. Third is another nat 20 for 24.
Oh my goodness.
I'm really wrecking this bar.
I love it. So as we see your character, as we see Racket for the first time, Racket is throwing darts at a dartboard. The first one, not even looking, just it flies forward, slams in the direct center of the dartboard. The next one that they roll over in their hand, they throw again, they look off to the side just to take in the dartboard for a moment before letting go. That dart spirals through the air. There was a guy standing next to the bar who's maybe taunting a little bit, trying to throw off your game. The dart does still hit, near the center of the board, but it's enough to give him a pause, and he jumps back, realizing that could have easily have hit him. And the third and final throw is a dart that flies forward, and it actually lands between the two. And as the dartboard as it hits the dartboard shakes slightly. The other two darts fall out, and as they do, they slam onto the floor, tunk, tunk, right next to each other in the same spot next to that gentleman's boot.
Nice.
He looks at Racket. He looks to the people around him. Everybody starts cheering. Again, there is a commotion, and the guy steps forward with some different Imperial Gold monies, and he starts giving them to you to pay off the fact that you have won the bet. Apparently, you are very skilled and talented at darts. This gentleman who wears a military uniform looks at you and goes, well, I never thought I'd be beaten by a Zan mercenary, but there's always a first time for everything now, isn't there?
And a second. How about you use that money instead on a round for the whole bar? Let's go!
Yes, and the whole bar does in fact erupt at that. Everybody is very worked up. Racket, you've been making quite a show here. You've been in town, I would say, for realistically a few days, and you've just been getting this party continued.
Yeah, started here, haven't left.
Oh, perfect. I love it. Yeah. You've been looking for work since you arrived a couple of days ago. And as you are picking up another drink to kind of get more into the revelry, get more into the moment, you see that there are two figures that step through the front doors of this tavern. Two figures that could not be more disalike than you possibly could imagine. The first of them is a karevi man who walks a little bit in on himself, like maybe he is trying to not be seen. And the second is a figure that could not be unseen if she tried. A tall, beautiful wiloi woman who is all shrouded in almost like a mist as she steps into the interior with him. And they look around, and then you recognize the karevi from sometime in the recent past. You did a job with him sometime. I don't know. Maybe the drinks that you are partaking in are a bit clouding your memory, but you do know you've seen him somewhere before. And then, much to your surprise, the two of them start heading in your direction. As the karevi man looks, he says something to the wiloi woman, and he almost like he's leading her over in your direction.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that I recognize the karevi man. The wiloi I'm a little bit more concerned about. Can I do like a bit of a vibe check on the karevi? Like, is he in distress? Is like
usually.
Right.
Not of his own making this time. How about that?
Gotcha. Yeah, go ahead and make an insight check if you'd like. Yes, the karevi in this world, as we all know, they are a race that are typically not trusted. They have certain mysteries, certain beguilements that they have about them. So yeah, you're not entirely sure what the play might be here. Maybe this is something that is up, but the fact that you know him, somehow you're kind of getting some insight into what exactly he might be about. So
I rolled a 7 on my insight check. I think I'm having too much fun.
Okay, yeah.
These people look like they're gonna be a party pooper, so that's not the vibe.
They definitely do, yeah. That's really all you glean off the two of them. You don't really get a better idea as to what exactly their relationship is as they catch up to you. The two of you approach Racket here in the tavern. Kaywin, this is one of the two friends that you mentioned before, a figure that you have worked with in the past but have not seen in some time. But you know that when Racket comes around looking for work, that he is a good person to have on your side.
I will say, as we approach to Issa, this is Racket. Don't let the teeth set you off a little bit. He's quite harmless. Well, not quite harmless, but he's not as yes. Don't mind the teeth. That is all. There are many of them, but he's a fine fellow. He's a fine fellow and a good help in a tight spot. I'll hail him. Racket.
I'll swing to try and get them more in focus. It's mid-morning, but things have been fun for the last couple of days, and I'll try to stumble my way over.
Is this a bad time?
I don't know. I just got the bar whole round. Oh, you're a little late, but we could get. Sorry. I don't know if wiloi. I don't really. We don't really hang out much, me and wiloi. So I don't know if you drink. Hi.
Quite all right, thank you.
This is Lady Isa Wittdaughter. This is Racket. Racket is a bit of a bon vivant, as they say, and he does enjoy riling up the crowd somewhat. Are you okay? Are you intoxicated, Racket?
Maybe a little bit. But that if you're here, if you're here to talk about work, you can do that. That's fine.
Well, there is something. Perhaps I would let Lady Wittdaughter explain. She has come to find me pertaining to some developments, things that are happening. Perhaps I would let her explain this. She will certainly be able to shed more light than I can on the subject.
We are seeking an artifact that has fallen in a meteor. Prophecies have foretold a great cataclysm. Perhaps this artifact can help us. My master saw Kaywin in his dreams. I've been brought here to retrieve him to help. And he has led me to you.
Well, enchanté, as they say. I'll do a little bow, and then I'll be like, "Oh shit, Kaywin! I didn't recognize you." And I'll like open my eyes real big and look in your face. Oh shit, sorry. Yeah, no, okay.
It's been a long long morning, has it?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, as you can imagine, I've, of course, told Lady Wittdaughter that I'm quite surprised that anyone at all, especially someone as powerful and as renowned as Othane would dream of me, but I'm not one to want to call anyone a liar, so I will be helping Lady Wittdaughter with this particular issue, and well, we were hoping to find perhaps a blade or two more to join us, as we expect there may be some difficulties along the way. Are you available? Would you be interested in perhaps helping us with this particular situation? I'm not quite aware of any sort of payment being made, but I'm sure something can be arranged.
I can't. Anything for you. Anything for you. Just give me 1 second. I'll clear my schedule. I'm going to turn around to the bar and be like, "More drinks on me!" I'll throw like a few gold and be like, "Okay, let's get out of here."
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, have you seen Pem recently? I was thinking perhaps Pem might also be interested in coming along with us.
Sure. What does my big brain energy say? Where is Pem?
It has been some time since you have seen Pem as well. The three of you did work on a job a while ago, and it has been some time as the three of you have parted ways. You're not entirely sure where Pem might be, where his countenance might be found in this day, but you two do know that if you are going to seek out an artifact, something that needs to be found, a treasure as it were, there was no figure greater than a treasure hound. In a different section of the city, we will find a very opulent, over-the-top, extravagant theater. Golds and burgundies are displayed across its different faces. The facades are just exuberant. It is a very elaborate setup here, and the rich and the high and the mighty of Daragos sit shoulder to shoulder as they take in an operatic play that is upon the stage. There is a man dressed in purples and reds, and as he sings some sort of aria in a strange ancient tongue that is semi-forgotten, there is another figure on the stage as well. This figure is a wiloi, playing one of the wiloi of the past. She sings back in the same tongue against his. They seem to be in opposition in the song, but there is a strange lullaby, a weird a lovemaking, as it were, in their voices as they sing. These are distant loves that are brought together through triumph, that's not a word, through triumph rather, and through strife. That's what I'm trying to say. And in this moment, all eyes are on them, and not on a small figure that darts across the catwalk above them. A figure who is also elaborately dressed, cuts a figure, and even though he is small and he is quick, Pemblebrook makes his way across the catwalks as he seeks out his own treasure to be found deep within the theater. Pemblebrook, Tim, if you could tell us a little bit about what exactly we would see and what exactly is his approach. And he's at work right now. What is he doing? What's going on?
Yes. Pemblebrook the Harlequin, as he's known, is 3 foot 4.5, 3 foot 6 with the ears. He is adorned in a crimson dueler's outfit, kind of sort of paramilitary-esque, but very flashy. He has a beautifully gilded rapier on his hip that is not a normal-sized rapier, it's a rabbit-sized rapier.
Sure. He
is called the Harlequin because he's a rabbit that's a Harlequin. If you know what a Harlequin rabbit is, that's what he is. Patches of brown and soft brown and white fur. Anyway, he is currently running across the catwalk, headed for what few know in the theater exists, and that is a safe. In the theater manager's office, there's a safe where only the best props are kept, the real props, including a treasure, a golden chalice that he is going to find.
Absolutely, yes. Pemblebrook, you make your way across the catwalk and you do get to a small office that is off stage right. And you will see that the office here is supported up on stilts up above the stage. No one is in it currently because it's not the time for that business. And as you make your way forward, you will find, much to the information that you've already gleaned, the journey is what's important and what's fun to you. And part of that journey was to discern that this door would be locked, but there is a way to unlock it. So you trifle for a bit through your belongings and some lockpicks dash up into hand. If you could, let's make a dexterity check and see exactly what's going on. You're going to get your proficiency bonus because you're using thieves' tools, which won't be a problem for you, but let's see what you get.
Pemblebrook is well, let us just say that with a math, a 31.
Oh, wow.
He will pick the lock.
Yes. With a deft flourish, the lock opens, and as you open the door in silence and slip within, one of the stage lights bounces off of something outside. It flashes across you for a moment, and we will all see as viewers that there is a dagger of sorts carved into the back of your left ear, a mark that will never heal, one of the bloody darts that is carved into your fur and skin, marking you as part of that organization. You slip within and shut the door behind you, and again, much to the insight that you've already given, the safe is not even hidden. It's in the middle of the room. It's almost too easy.
The best kind. The best kind of easy. As the light washes over him, he kind of straightens up, sort of meta-aware of the light, and when he does, his crimson cloak billows out behind him dramatically, even though there's no breeze or wind in this office. It billows as he strikes a pose before going to the safe.
Yes, absolutely. The safe is also locked, so if we could again just make another roll just to see how well you handle this one.
This time it's only a 25.
Oh, only. Okay, yeah, that's fine. The lockpicks come out. It takes you a small moment. You have to think about it a little bit more than the door, but soon enough the safe is open, and as it opens there are some papers and scrolls within, also a golden chalice. You deftly pull it out, and the golden chalice catches that same light as you pocket it and make your way back out of the catwalk, across the stage into a different section of the theater. You come down a side entry that leads down to the main floor and out to the back of the stage. And as you get down to the floor and you cross your way out into what would be the lobby of the theater, you will see that there are 3 figures standing in the lobby, 2 of which you immediately recognize. You remember them well from the recent work that you all 3 did, even though you 3 are very disalike in purpose. But the third one is a stranger to you. You see the Urakian foxman, you see the karevi, and you see this strange wiloi you've never seen before, all standing there as if they're expectant of something. And as you come out with a flash and a flourish, as the door shuts behind him, you all will see this same scarlet cloak billow in an unseen breeze behind him as he strikes a cutting figure, and you all see one another.
K-Wing Racket? Who's that?
Have you been thieving again?
Define no.
This is very embarrassing. I'm sorry. Pem is a fine fellow, but he does have very light fingers at times.
Are you a princess?
She smiles down to him. I don't think light fingers are always a bad thing.
Oh, I like her.
For our current job, those fingers may come in use.
Ooh, you guys brought me a job? Ooh.
Lady Viddaughter comes from Ulthane himself. He requires...
I didn't take anything of his.
Well, I would hope not.
Yet.
However, there is something he would like us to secure for him, and, well, since securing things is one of your specialty, I thought perhaps you might join us.
Securing what?
An artifact. An artifact that fell with the meteor.
His eyes get real big.
Does this interest you, Pem?
Do sharks like to eat people?
What on earth is a shark? What on earth is Earth?
Are you allowed to say that about shark people? I don't know.
Shark people? Well, maybe
I must insist, however, Pem, that if you are to join us on this, that you restrict your light-fingered activities to the cause at hand, and not given too much to your...
He strikes a pose and the cloak billows again,
lower.
as it seems to do that quite often. And I am incensed. The princess here wants us to get an artifact. I will not deviate from it.
I know you're a fine fellow.
Also, Racket, you smell like beer.
Oh, thank you. I was winning at darts.
Oh, that's right. You're good at that. Damn. Suckers.
They didn't know what hit them.
Can I do a quick use of prestidigitation to just make like the beer smell and the all that waft away from
I almost did a spit take. It was very close.
Yes, you absolutely do.
Just
Yeah.
very subtly, so that Issa doesn't realize. Just kind of.
Definitely.
Issa's kind of looking around at everybody, and she seems quite amused by this cast of characters that she's found herself amidst. She's a woman who's spent the majority of her life locked in mage towers studying books. So being out among people and more just the usual like common folk is really interesting to her, and she's pretty entertained right now by everybody.
Yes, these are three very different figures than you thought you would be interacting with today. You certainly hope that Althane knows what he is dealing with and knows what he's asked you to do, but you do trust his judgment. He has trained you for some time, even though you both are older by Wiloi's standards of roughly the same amount of time. He does have more experience with dealing with the folk of the land, so yes, you would assume he knows what he's doing with this.
We hope.
That's right.
Kaywin's still not ever looking in the direction of Issa when he speaks to her, but
Kaywin, you got something in your eyes?
no, I'm fine, thank you. Shall we perhaps find a quiet place where we can discuss this, or should we? What is our next step?
Yeah, preferably away from this place before they discover, things.
You were thieving.
Define no.
It's things like it's a slippery slope. You start
No, it
off
wasn't that
thieving, and
slippery.
next thing you know, the world turns dark.
I'm fairly certain I didn't steal the sun.
Well, someone did.
That's a hell of a
Kaywin-
trick.
Okay, when you say that for every bad thing anyone has ever done, that's why the world turned dark. So
Well, these things add up,
Okay.
right? They may seem small and insignificant in the moment to you, as you perpetrate a little lie, a little light-fingered action, a little perfidy, but in time, all these things add up. When
I
you
never
multiply
thought of
them by
that.
all the people around, no
all
wonder
add
the
up.
sun's gone in hiding.
Hey, what if I steal a lot of things? Will that add up quickly, or
Just focus on stealing the one thing. Not even stealing, just securing the
Right.
artifact that...
right? We have we have a mission.
I believe it's time we return to Althane and speak more on our mission. Are we ready to leave?
Right, we got to see him.
I thought you said you hadn't taken anything from him.
Yet.
It is now.
Yes, I believe we are ready. I believe we are ready to
I
go.
hadn't planned on it.
It is now going to be Issa who takes up the lead as she leads the three of you out of the theater. In Daragos, the most eastern island of the archipelago, you will find yourselves walking down the trade hub center. The military is slightly off to the south, and the barracks that are nearby the theater. As we mentioned, Daragos is a city that has workshops. Different artisans are around the theater specifically. You all start making your way down Atelier Street, which is a paved straight road that actually bisects the island almost in half as you make your way towards where the Archmage's tower would be. As you continue to walk along, you see that there is a prestigious University of Sciences, a natural museum of history that is nearby the tower as well. But the tower does jut up above both of these figures, almost like a finger jutting up, pointing towards the sky, almost a reminder telling you that, hey, there is something to note here. But as you approach, you will see the city of Daragos here is primarily going to be wiloi. They make up nearly 3/4 of the population here, as do elves and some half-elves as well. So a karevi walking with a wiloi, quickly being followed by an urakian and what people would probably assume would be an urakian, but is actually a harengon. As you walk along, there are a couple of glances that you all get, but no one says anything. It would seem that Issa has a little bit of a presence here, that people know that she is of business and she's not a problem. But the four of you are going to enter into the tower proper, and Issa, specifically, you take them up into an upper chamber. This was the same chamber earlier this day that you glimpsed upon a vision in a glowing sphere with Althane. And as the four of you make your way up, you will notice that the building has a slight bit of opulence to it, just because it is a building that is going to be representational of one of the three ruling archmages of the Mageocracy of Nu. But Althane has, the rest of it is relatively unadorned. It's very, I don't want to say plain, because that would really kind of undercut everything, but it's not elaborate. It's not garish. It's not like it is going to be something that is standing out. Much to your dismay, you'll notice, Pem, not a lot of treasure around. But there is a certain feeling that they might be here, hidden away behind closed doors, perhaps. But the four of you do make your way up into the chambers, and as you coming up into the chamber specifically, you will see the lone figure of Althane is standing next to that globe. It is now dark. It's not lit up. It's not showing anything. And as he turns, this is the first time that the other three of you have seen the Archmage of this city. He is, as I mentioned, a wiloi. You could tell he is probably would be middle-aged for their race, which is kind of hard to discern because they are reportedly living longer than most of the other races. But he has an air about him. Although he, again, is not over the top and elaborate in his dress, he has a certain majesty about him, a presence that marks him as someone who is in charge, someone who is a leader, someone who is knowledgeable of the world. And as he turns, he sees the four of you. That was quite quick. You are very skilled in your seeking, it would seem. Issa, please, bring our new guests into the fold. And there are chairs that emerge out of corners around and slide into the center of the room, seemingly on their own accord, but Issa, you know this is magic that is bringing them to the center of the room.
I avert my gaze.
Okay. Please.
It's quite an honor, Lord Althane. I'm not quite sure how to properly address an Archmage. Is Lord a proper honorific?
I would not prefer the term Lord. That is reserved for those of different kingdoms to the south, but Archmage is fine. Although I believe in our purposes here, you may simply call me Althane. No need to be so formal. Please, sit. Are you in need of refreshments?
Yes.
Carrot juice or something else?
You have carrot juice?
I can, if you require it.
He's an Archmage.
That's weird, but alright. I was thinking more along the lines of, what you think, Racket? Magic? Kind of crazy magic? Like brandy or something?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, do you have like a nice old brandy that you've prayed over, Sir Archmage, sir?
Yeah, what Racket said.
I have something I believe will fit the bill. He will turn, and as he turns, there is a bottle that appeared out of somewhere that lands in his hand, and he turns, and as he presents it to you, Racket, you will see it has script on it that's very different. You can't read it. You're not sure what it is. Some sort of strange runes that almost seem to... Oh, geez, that's got to be a trick of the light, because they almost seem to glow for a moment as you look at them. The bottle is it's glass. It's a weird, like... off blue kind of color, has scintillating prismatic effect as you look and you kind of shift it around with the light. The liquid inside is very dark, almost like blood. And he hands that to you.
Oh, thank you, Sir Archmage, sir. I'm gonna produce a couple small tin cups, and I'll get some stuff prepared for me and Pem.
Mm-hmm. Issa, you recognize this liquid. It is an ancient brandy that is actually from the old land, from when before you came to Near. This is wiloi make. This is quite different, quite stronger than the stuff that most people here drink. So I'm not sure if you know if they know what they're getting into or not, but it's definitely something that you remember what it is, and it's strong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just quietly sit and just kind of watching the party right now. I've got the slightest little smirk on my face, but I want to see the tolerance of our new companions. I'm curious.
Absolutely. So Racket, do you pour a glass for just you and for Pem, or for everyone, or how exactly do you go about that?
I know that Pem and I were interested. I will definitely offer. I did tell. I would imagine as we walked up, I had been trying to sober up, and I was telling Kaylin like I'm gonna really try to control myself and like really behave. So this is he's thinking, he's behaving, he's asking everyone if would you like to drink from my tin cup? I only have 2, but.
Were you offering me or Kaywin?
I'll offer everyone. You, the Sir Archmage, and Miss Issa. Would you?
Thank you.
Kaywin?
I'm fine, thank you. Kaywin's sitting there trying to figure out if he needs to prepare lesser restoration or not to cure some poison.
Right.
Kaywin is really nervous, right? Because he brought these 2 here, and he's like really kind of impressed and like bowled over by the 2 Aloys, and right now he's like, "The fuck did I do?"
Yeah, it's like that moment when you are invited to a party by the cool kids, and you show up with your regular nerd friends, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh boy, I might have made a faux pas here." Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me.
Except in my case, my nerd friends are drunkards and thieves. So.
So we know that the Racket is going to drink. Pam, are you drinking some as well, or?
Oh hell yes.
Okay.
Magic brandy, yeah.
When the two of you bring the tin cups up to your lips, you will notice that there is no smell, despite the fact that this looks like very strong, very thick brandy. If both of you please could make a Constitution saving throw when you drink it, however, and let me know what you get.
I got a 16.
Okay.
Pam has the honor of this campaign's first natural 1.
Oh my goodness. Excellent. Okay. As the 2 of you drink it, Racket, it is very smooth. It's the smoothest alcohol you've ever tasted. It does burn, however, not painfully, just enough for you to know that it's there as it goes down. You instantly feel your fingertips, your toes, the outsides of your ears start to go numb. You are very warm. You know that if you were outside in the blizzard and in the cold, that you wouldn't feel it because of how warm you feel. You are slightly tipsy, nothing that would be enough for you to, be inebriated, but you know that this is very strong. That was a sip of this stuff, and you feel like you are easily 3/4 of the way to your normal drunkenness.
Wow.
And
my ears
Yes.
are going to go down like, oh, like I'm enjoying this.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of ears, yours twitch for a moment, Pem, as you are immediately overtaken by the effects of this alcohol. You are going to roll 1d4 for me, please.
Oh no. 1.
1. Your dexterity score is going to temporarily be reduced by 1. Okay, you are going to have 1 level, for game terms, 1 level of exhaustion, but it's not really exhaustion, just you are inebriated already. Because, the stuff is strong, it nearly knocks you on your ass when you drink it. You fall back into the chair that they provided for you. It seems to magically move forward in underneath you and catch you as you fall back. You're not passed out or anything like that, but you're close. You're very, very close, and you're not sure what to hit you.
You know,
I'm dying.
Kaylin, You were saying shadows and counting up things? I don't see any shadows on this guy. And he points at anything, or thing, however you say his name.
Do not worry, friend. You will be all right in time. If we may commence our business and learn what is needed of the four of you, while Mr. I believe I did not fully catch your name. If you will take time to recoup yourself, we will get back to the pleasantries in a moment. How much has... Oh, excuse me, please.
I'm
Pem. Indeed.
Pembroke Harlequin.
Pembin Book Holmkem. I shall commit it to memory, yes.
Pem to my friends, and your friend.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
I think
It
as
is an
this
auspicious day.
as this interaction is happening, Issa is going to very calmly and politely lean forward, and she's going to touch his glass with her fingertip. And as she does so, the liquid inside is going to freeze solid. And she just kind of smiles and sits back into her seat.
Ow!
She cut you off, man. She cut you off.
Ow!
Here's some water. I'm gonna hand you the last of my water skin.
Okay. As you step back, Issa, Althane, his gaze meets yours, just the slightest nod as he knows what you did.
I'm terribly sorry, Archmage. I should have warned you that liquor was probably not the best way to begin here. And I kind of tried to straighten up Pem, his cloak and his clothes.
Now he's just kind of leaning off the way.
Yeah.
Straighten him up.
That is quite all right. We shall gain the full measure of you all in due time. How much has Issa told you about what is necessary of the four of you? What all is at stake?
We gotta find the thing.
She has mentioned an artifact that must be found. She has mentioned a time of great change to hand.
A cataclysm, possibly.
Wait, she did? Change? I thought that was you.
But we've not yet discussed. I throw Pem a side glance. We have not yet discussed details.
If I must, I shall elucidate further so that we may have the full effect of what is necessary here. Let me begin with the ancient past. Before the time of eternal night, before the sun set over near for the last time, before Laun, the god of light and of justice, was pulled down from his heavenly perch, before the celestial war began in the heavens above us, there was a time when a being known as the Tyrant attacked the ancient lands, and with it brought its demise. The ancient wiloi archmages of the time were able to seal him away in an infernal prison and destroy his soul once and for all, ending his claim over this land. He pauses just for a moment as you have a reaction, Pem. He lets you have that moment, lets it sink in, and then he turns back to everyone else. The tyrant, however, did not go quietly. Part of his magics that destroyed the city of seven runes cast a dark shadow over the land, and it was through his direct influence that the god Laun was stricken down. How exactly he did this, we are unsure, but we know that the time has affected the land and continues to. There was a prophecy spoken by one of the archmages of the time, a seer known as Melko, who wrote a great many scrolls that foresaw the future of the land. He spoke of a time after the 161st years of darkness, when a change would be brought upon the land on the back of fire that rains down from the celestial perch. A meteor to those who do not study such things. This meteor would come upon the land and bring with it a great change. And this great change would mark a cataclysm that would forever change the land of Nier. Well, I have no need to tell you that it has been 161 traverses since the Great Darkness began, and that time is upon us now. He swipes his hand through the air, and that globe, that big crystal ball-looking thing that's off to the side of the room, flares, and then you all see that there is a meteor that streaks across it, distant, but it looks like this globe is somehow looking upon it. This transpired 3 days ago to the south of here. A meteor struck down towards the Ashen Lands, near the kingdom of Petrolta, near the Great Chasm. This, I believe, is the sign we have all been looking for of the great change. Thus, I need the four of you to procure an item that is beyond my reach, an item that will be necessary to ensure that the tyrant does not rise again. If you are willing to join, Issa, and I would hope, perhaps, Kaywin, who seems already a bit open to this cause. And he looks at you very deeply for a moment, Kaywin, almost as if he is seeing something about you that you're not directly giving off to everyone. May I count on the four of you for this?
Yeah.
Issa bows her head to the Archmage.
I will gladly walk in Lady Viddaughter's shadow wherever it may lead us.
I don't think it has a shadow either.
If Kaywin believes in this cause, and he very much does, I will follow. I will help in whatever way I can with Miss Issa, and I'll make. I think Pem. I speak for Pem too. I guess Pem, you're good.
Oh yeah, no, I've never been a part of anything like with flashy lights and mages and things. So yeah.
May I ask a question, Archmage?
Please.
Do you believe that this great change, this time of cataclysm that is coming, is one that will bring back the light, or one that will forever seal us into the darkness and our doom? Is this a positive change, or is this the end?
This is a question that many of the wiloi have studied over in the past in trying to glean what might come in the future when the change occurs. It is a mixed bag, as you would say. Some of us believe that it is a time that will bring about the light again, that will raise Nier up from the eternal night and will purge it once more into the great and holy power that is Laun, that he will return to his heavenly perch and will save us all from our eternal damnation. The other school of thought, however, is that the tyrant will bring about a darkness even deeper than that we currently reside, and in that darkness will come about the end of man. I suppose what happens will be up to what we do about it.
And I assume
Are those the only two options?
others will also be seeking this.
Others who could be seeking this item?
Yes.
I would doubt it, based upon where it is located and what exactly it means. But there are other meteor hunters, other archivists of other lands who study the prophecy as well. One of my allies, the gnome known as Ming Hill, has actually been on a quest recently to discern information about such a thing.
I met Ming Hill in another life.
Since you all agreed, let me give you the information that you shall require. But first, there is something that I must require of all of you. Although Issa has already proven herself as one of the students and one of the high-ranking scholars and meteor hunters here of the tower, the three of you are strangers to me. And although I have seen you in my visions, and I have seen you in the gaze of the sphere of light, he points to that crystal globe thing, I would like proof that you are able to handle the task put ahead of you. I devise a test, as it were, developed and will be submitted here right within the tower to prove that you are up to the task at hand. The quest that I send you on is one of great import and also one that will take you into a dangerous land. If we succeed in our test, I will give you the rest of the information necessary, and you can begin immediately.
Okay. What do I steal?
I start preparing my poison cure spell for Pam.
Okay. What does Issa or Racket do in this moment?
I feel like Issa is just patiently listening. Is he expecting her to do the test as well?
I'll say in this moment, because you have a rapport with him, you kind of give him a look, and almost like he reads your mind, he just has an insight about you because you've worked together for so long. He looks at you and he says, I would like the four of you to complete this task together to see how your skills will complement one another in the current task at hand.
As you wish, Althane.
Very good. Let us go then. And he will snap his fingers and clap his hands once, and you will all find yourselves shimmering slightly, and the room around you seems to disappear. You guys find yourselves in a larger room, almost as if you've been mystically teleported into another section of the tower somehow. The room here is quite large. It's got to be easily 150 feet rectangularly on the one side by one, so be, let's say 150 by about 120. It's pretty large room in general, devoid of anything other than stone walls and floor and ceiling. And as he looks at the four of you, kind of positioned now by what looks to be a doorway, as you all kind of come into focus here, you look and you see that the doorway behind you looks different somehow. It doesn't quite look like a door, but it doesn't quite not look like a door either. A trick of the light, perhaps. He will motion, if you are prepared, please. And he will motion for you all to step forward, not leave the room, but step forward into the room, kind of away from the door, away from him, as it were.
Does Pam still look drunk?
He does. Actually, he looks a little bit drunker.
Oh no.
The four of you are standing there, and you actually see the Pem's kind of...
Yeah.
Do I feel that lesser restoration would sort him out?
It might. You can certainly try it and see.
I
Now,
mean,
you know that that would usually on a typical inebriation that would work pretty well. Yeah.
All right.
I'm not
so
sure what exactly he drank, but
I'll come by him and I'll put a hand on his shoulder. I'm like, my friend, are you okay? Are you feeling up to the task? And as I do that, I will cast lesser restoration.
Define. Wait, what? Does it clear me?
and in this moment, you suddenly feel your senses clear up. You find yourself more aware of yourself, more aware of the room. You do still, however, have the -1 to your dexterity because you did roll a natural 1 on that, Tim. I apologize.
Yes.
But you no longer have the exhaustion. You're no longer kind of out of it. You are, for all intents and purposes, sober now. But your manual dexterity is still a little bit off because you still feel that warmness across your fingers, across your ears. And yes, it's definitely a moment.
Yo, that brandy's that's some crazy stuff, man.
Yes, perhaps we lay off the libations until after we have succeeded.
At least the glowy stuff, you know? Just because Racket's got an iron liver.
Mm-hmm.
Carnivore
Oh,
superiority can't.
There you go. You all
No
take a
steps
step
in.
forward. Yep. You all take a step forward into the room, and Althane does not move by the archway. And as he motions, you will see that as you all look to him for a moment, you look back into the room. And as you look back into the room, no longer an empty room made out of stone. Actually, you find yourselves in a vast forest, tall trees that billow up above you all. It seems that you are outside. It is still that eternal darkness that permeates the land. So there are strange shadows that flit about. And in this moment, there are four very faintly glowing lights in the corners of the room that then kind of twinkle out and slide in towards the center. And Althane will say, there are 4 small gems that you will find within this forest of tranquility. You must retrieve them without causing any harm or damage to the inhabitants. And as you all hear his voice, you turn back again to see that he is no longer in the room. In fact, that doorway that he was standing at is gone as well. You're all just in this forest. And then there is something that shifts and moves in one of the trees nearby. It's almost as if the tree branches start to cling and start to move, almost as if they are alive. Something within a hunter, perhaps, you immediately think, Pem, something that is trying to stalk upon the 4 of you, moves in and out amongst the brambles and amongst the leaves here. And in this moment, the 4 of you know that the test to determine if the 4 of you are ready to help aid Nier in a time of coming change has begun. And we're going to take a quick break right now, everybody at home. We're already at the halfway point. This is amazing. Everybody's just rocking and rolling tonight. We're going to just take a quick 5 minutes. So if you could, get like Pem, have a drink or two, get feeling good about it, because it's going to get interesting when we come back.
Just don't roll a 1.
Yeah, don't roll a 1 though. Exactly. We will be back shortly in 5 minutes. Please return with us, because the more fun to come. A great characterization so far. I can't wait to see what happens next. So thank you all. We'll see you shortly. Welcome back, everybody. Here we are for part 2 of our first episode of the Mage Discordant here on the Eterna channel. Before we dive back in, I just want to let you all know that hi, everyone out there from Creeps channel, a lot of creepers. Is that what you guys call yourselves over there? Creepers?
Creeples.
Creeples. Oh, I love that even better.
Yeah, the creeple.
The creeples.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted.
No, you're good. You're good. Creeples, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. We hope you're enjoying the tale that's going on. I love seeing new people. So yeah, come hang out with us some more. If you are just joining us, welcome. We have these 4 characters have all been brought together by an archmage of the city. They are going to be going on a quest to find an item that may tip the balance in an upcoming threat from a strange being known as the Tyrant. And right now he is going to test them by having them go into this forest that he has magically created in this large room, a danger room as it were, to test them all to see how their skills work together. Most immediately, there were strange little lights that zoomed into the center of the room, have been lost in the foliage, and he tasked them to retrieve the 4 items that are in the light, 4 little gems, without hurting any of the inhabitants of the forest. So we shall see what happens with that with our characters. So here we are, brought up here on the map. This is on Owlbear Rodeo. We'll go ahead and using this bad boy here. This is a little bit layout of the forest. You all 4 are able to move around your tokens and kind of start where you were, but that's kind of where the door that you came in at nearby is right there. So yeah, you saw these 4 lights kind of slowly dissolve into the forest, and there is movement in the trees. You notice it seems like something large, something predatory is moving about, and perhaps is going to be a danger to the 4 of you. So before we do anything drastic, is there anything anybody wants to do immediately before the test begins?
I have a question. Is everybody able to see in the darkness here, or is that the lights?
Yes, in the land of the eternal night, in Notte Eterna, in Nier, dark vision works a little bit differently, but however, this is a magical type of forest. So even though it's basically nighttime, you all can see well enough to function and do whatever.
Like in a movie.
like in a movie, yeah, just how everybody just all of a sudden can see in the dark and run around in the forest and not trip and kill themselves. Exactly. That's a great analogy, Bleak.
Called Day for Night. There you go. Lady Viddaughter, you know the Archmage more than any of us do. Do you suppose that when he said not to hurt the inhabitants, he also meant any who might try to do us harm?
I believe if he says not to hurt anybody, then we shouldn't. I trust Althame.
That's what I was afraid she was going to say.
She's gonna look down to the harengon. Pem, I believe this is your time to shine. I do hope I have not been misled in the idea that you have a certain knack for finding things.
Well, sure, finding things, but things finding me is not exactly my cup of tea.
And with that, there was move. Oh, good. I'm sorry. Please.
No, I was just gonna say that I'll take my shield off my back and put on my arm and draw my sword. And when I draw my short sword, it glows with the light of the moon a little bit. And I will stand near Issa, act in a protective manner.
Absolutely, yes.
Still not looking at her at any point.
Of course. Very humbly, you avert your gaze as you stand next to the wiloi sorceress. And as you do so, there is movement in the trees again up near the center of the area. The forest looks like it goes on and on and on, but you can somehow still tell that you're in the room somehow. It still feels like there's a cutoff to the walls here. Which would be represented by the edge of the map. And as you are in this area and you see movement towards the center, if everybody could please make a perception check for me.
There we go. That's what I like.
It's a dirty 20 for me.
Great.
Same for Pem.
Excellent. 5 for Kaven. Okay.
I got a 16.
Okay. Everyone except for everybody sees the movement of the trees. It looks like the tree and the brush is moving about again, like there is something that definitely is moving about. And as that happens, everyone except for Kaywin, because he's averting his gaze perhaps, will see that as the brush moves, there is a figure that steps out of the tree itself, almost as if they are stepping out of an opening in the tree somehow. This figure is a figure that is a green and verdant figure that has different leaves and different vines and whatnot that are woven into the armor that it wears. It has very elaborate skin stretched over its long, are they ears? Are they petals? You're not quite sure on its head. Its face, however, that marks it as different from anything that any of you have seen before. Almost looks like a fish face, complete with the scales and whatnot. There are glowing eyes coming out from the center of this face. And this figure, as it steps out, leaving this large wake of the tree moving behind it, its small little 2-foot form steps out and looks at all of you, and it points at you all. And you see it pulls out one of these little gems that tosses once, twice in the air and snatches it, and then it turns and it runs off into the forest.
Pem is gone. He is after it. Like,
Okay.
Just dead sprint, bonus action dash. Like,
Okay. Yes, you run off after it into the forest. Go ahead and make another perception test for me, please, if you could. Or if you want, you could possibly make a survival test instead, if that happens to be higher for you, which I'm not sure if it is for your character, but...
no, it's slightly less, but it's a 22.
22, okay. Opposed to his stealth of 21. So you see the figure as it moves forward. You see that it looks like it is going to disappear behind a tree, but then you actually do catch a glimpse of it after all as it merges off to the center into the forest here. You can go ahead and move your figure up towards its direction. You get about halfway the distance between where you're currently standing and where it is at, when there is another one of these figures that emerges from behind you as you run past that tree. And as it does, you see that it brandishes a little sword that seems to be made out of fish bone. Let's have everybody please roll initiative.
Nice.
Oh no!
I'm going to have the two that you can see fish figures are going to move at the same time. They're going to go on the same initiative of 7. What a great roll. So, Isa, what did you get?
A 20.
28?
20.
Oh, 20. Okay, hey,
Yeah.
that's still awesome. I love that. And K-Win.
11.
11.
Sorry, I was looking for my bonus.
Not a problem. Racket?
I got a 23, and you're
Ooh.
gonna have to say Kwyn's name faster because every time you space it out, I'm like, oh, is
Oh,
it
no.
okay.
I didn't even think about that, K. Yeah.
I'm sorry, also, I have advantage on initiative. I only rolled one, so.
Oh, yeah. Roll again then, please. Yeah.
No.
Oh, so that's a little bit better. That's going to be 14. Just tiny bit
14. Okay. And Pem?
All right, Racket. Who's got the higher dex?
Oh, same number. Same 23, huh?
I'm at -1, so I'm at. Was it -1 to my score?
-1 to your effective score. Yeah, so it might not affect your modifier. I'm not sure.
It does.
Okay.
So,
I'm at an 18, so a +4.
19.
Okay. So 18 and 19 are in the same bracket. So let's just have you guys go ahead and roll again real quick.
Rollies! Let's do rollies.
Right.
I like rollies. Oh, you're going to win.
Am I rolling the initiative or just the straight?
Just roll a straight 20 and see. Yeah, we'll see who
So just
sounds
6.
off here.
You rolled a 6, I rolled a 3.
Okay. So, top of the round, from your vantage point over by where the door was, Racket, you're going to see that one of these figures emerges directly behind Pem. He is in such a hurry to get after the other one that he doesn't notice it step out. But Pem, you have such a high perception about you. You do notice it's behind you now, but you don't really react in time. So, starting us off here, what do you want to do, Racket?
You can't hurt them. I feel like Kwyn can take care of Isa. I'm worried about Pem getting shanked from behind, so can I run up and like be able to grapple whatever this tiny little fish man in one move?
The distance from where you're standing to where it is about 30 feet, so that is your movement. So yeah, you can get up there no problem. Go ahead and make an opposed athletics test for me. Although it is trying to attack Pem, it knows the 4 of you are there, so I'm not going to give it disadvantage or anything like that. But, oh geez, that's not very great for it. This little tiny figure is going to roll a total of 10.
Okay, I got a 12.
Okay. So yeah. So you run up, and as you do, you hook your arms in around it. You heft it up off of its feet. Now, unless I'm mistaken, Racket, you're like a regular humanoid size, right? You said you were 5 foot something.
I think I'm going to be 5'7", 5'8", so I'm still rather short in comparison to Issa, but taller than everyone else, I think.
Of course. Yes, you pull this little figure that comes up to just below your knees. You heft it up off the ground with one arm, and you hold it, and it starts kicking its legs, and it's doing like it's yelling something in a language you don't understand. Well, no, do you understand Sylvan? I guess I shouldn't assume you don't understand.
I don't think I understand Sylvan.
Okay. Yeah, you don't understand what it's saying. With that being said, Racket, as you move past this figure, you see that other one ahead of you. It has that gem, tosses it up and down. It is glowing a faint pinkish color, this gem. What do you want to do?
Oh, you mean Pem?
Pem. Oh, I'm sorry. Who did I say?
You said Racket.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Racket.
Right?
Racket, you went. I apologize.
Racket,
Pem, let's have you go, buddy.
Racket just did great. I don't know what Racket needs to do. I mean, he's going to close the distance and try to tackle
Similar thing. Okay, yeah,
this guy.
absolutely. Yeah, you get up there. Even though you are a small figure, you are very quick being a harengon. So yeah, you instantly close that distance between the two, kick up a little bit of dirt off of the ground, and you come up. Again, opposed athletics test. Ooh, okay, that's a little bit
it's
better
not
for this
gonna.
guy.
It might be slightly closer.
He got an 18.
Oh,
Really high.
jeez, I got a 5. No.
Oh, okay. As you come up and you go to tackle the figure, it does a backflip and flips up out of the way, lands on the ground next to you as you just get a mouthful of dirt and grass as you into the ground right next to where it was, and it and it turns and it starts to move a little bit more, which it'll do on its turn. So Issa, it is your
It's
turn.
not proving well.
Off to an auspicious beginning, everybody.
All right. Well, I'd like to ask if I recognize what these creatures are.
Okay. You can either make a knowledge arcana or knowledge nature test, slightly different DC for each. I'll let you decide whichever two you want to roll.
All right. We're going to go with Arcana on that one.
Okay.
That is a 24.
Oh, very good. Yes. You have seen these small, strange anthropomorphic leaf creatures before. They are a creature that actually come from an area known as the Fey Wild. They are these strange Fey creatures. They are creatures that are specifically known to hunt treasures and gems and shiny things and be a little bit mischievous in the process. They are called Chop-Talk, which are actually a creature that is specific to the Notte setting. So these are new monsters that we're facing for those at home. But yeah, they're basically small fey creatures that are really good at finding treasures and getting items that way. And they have such a high roll. They have certain innate magical resistances, and they have an ability to wink and affect their opponents to maybe make them a little bit off kilter when they try to apprehend them. So
Okay. Do I know them to be like violent?
No, they're not typically. They're mischievous. They're pretty much neutral fey creatures that just like items.
And with my 24, do I know any of their specific resistances?
Ooh, yeah, you would know. I'll say that they basically have basically, for lack of a better term, they have magic resistance, so they have advantage on saves against magic. You also know that they are able to sometimes turn invisible.
Okay.
So
I'm going to, can I still take an action?
Yeah.
Okay. I turn and I look to Kaywin and I say, it's a simple task. All you have to do is catch them. And I'm going to cast Haste on Kaywin, but I am going to go ahead and use Twin Spell as well. And I'm going to twin it over to... I think I can only do one on this.
yeah, Racket is still within range.
Yeah. So Racket and Kaywin will get my haste.
Excellent.
And then let's see, how close am I right now to, because Racket has this one grappled, right?
Yes. Racket's 30 feet from you. Basically, Pem would be 60 feet from you.
Would I be able to walk up and take the gem from the one that Racket has grappled currently?
Yeah, you can go up there and do that. Yeah, as you move forward, you cast the haste. Is there a certain type of effect we see as your magic takes form? Is there maybe the frosty breath on the air or something like this? Something that marks your magic is different anyhow, being an elementalist?
Yeah, I feel you don't see it come from her, but when she casts this on the two of them, there's almost like a frost like swirl in the air about them. It's very faint and subtle, but if anyone were paying close attention, they would certainly notice this effect.
Absolutely, I love that. And and you move up to where your new companion here, where Racket has this figure, and you look at the figure. You don't immediately see a gem on this creature. So if it has one, maybe it's pocketed away or maybe it's hidden somewhere. So you might have to take some time to look for that. But that's a great first round. I love it. And Kwyn, you feel the strength, the power of the haste. You feel a little bit quicker, a little more agile. What would you like to do with your shield and sword in hand?
Well, I will put away the sword. I will use the extra action that I'm getting from the haste to dash.
Oh, great.
And I will try to... Can I reach where Pem is?
Yeah, that'll be 60 feet, which will be your movement. Yeah, that's enough for a dash. You have to get over there.
All right, so I will get over there, and he's eating grass, and the little thing is trying to scamper away from him. Is that the deal?
That's exactly right. Yes.
All right, I will, as I will come running up to him and put my sword and my shield away, I will attempt to grab this thing. Yeah, so I'm going to try to just sort of come and running up to this thing and kind of grab it to try and wrestle the gem out of its hands.
All right. Let's go ahead and make an opposed athletics test for me, please.
Athletics. Hold on.
It's got a 15.
Hold on just 1 second. I have to go look up haste, so...
Sure.
I gotta find my character again.
I can drop the spell description in Discord.
Yeah,
for
I got
all
it.
of
It's
you.
plus 2 AC, advantage to dex saves, and plus 1 action.
Yes.
All right, so come at me again. That was athletics?
Yes. You're trying to beat a 15 that it rolled.
It's gonna be horrible.
16 minus 1.
Yeah, no.
Okay. And as you get up and you try to scoop it up, it, in a manner a little bit different than what it did to Pem, it kind of rolls and dances out of the way, getting out of your reach. And as it does, it looks at you and one of its eyes blink out. It doesn't close because fish don't really have eyelids. So it doesn't really, well, I mean, do they? I don't know. Is that an urban myth? Maybe. I'm not sure. But its eye doesn't actually blink just so much as the light of it winks out for a moment. And in that moment, both you and Pem go blind. You can't see all of a sudden, some sort of strange effect. You can't see what's going on around you. If you both could make a Constitution saving throw when that happens.
Well, that's no fun. I got
It's
a
not
16.
very high. 16,
Yeah,
okay.
16.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, okay. I will tell you for the sake of how the ability works, that's only going to affect you this round because you rolled as high on your save. Over by the other two who are grappling this one who is also visible, it does a similar effect. It winks its eye and both of you see your vision get blurred and phase out for a moment. If both of you could please give Constitution saving throws.
Oof, that's a 9 for me.
Okay.
I almost got a nat 1, but it rolled to, we have a 23.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. Unfortunately, because of the effect of the wink, Issa, you are going to be blinded for the next minute.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But you are going to be, just for this round, racket. So, so Issa, immediately your vision kind of goes away and gets blurred. You can't see. You're in darkness. You can somehow tell innately that it's magical in effect, but what's going to happen, you're not too sure. So that's pretty much what they do on their turn. I will tell you also meta, they basically, this is like a once per day ability. This is their super big bad ability. So they're not going to do that every 5 seconds or anything like that. But
Beautiful.
It's good to know that's what it does. And that one save that you made is basically going to be for the duration of the ability, which is a once a day thing. So basically,
Okay.
those of you who passed, it's going to basically be just this round. Nothing else can happen with it. Unfortunately, Issa, because you failed the save, is going to be for the minute, and then after that, you'll be okay. But maybe this
It's
will be
funny because
over in a
originally
minute.
that's what I was going to do, blindness on this thing, but then I wasn't sure if that was going to count as hurting them, so I hesitated and I tried to grab it instead. Never hesitate!
And as it does that wink, the you two gentlemen up in the front, you don't know what is up with that one that's dodging out of the way of you, and the two in the back, both Racket and Issa, you're not sure what's going on. You do still have a hold of it though, Racket. It's not like it got out of your grasp or anything like that. So back up to the top of the round. Racket, you know you still have a hold of this thing, but
Yeah.
you can't see. So until the end of this round, you'll be blinded. Then it comes back.
It comes back. That's fine. I have an ability, a fighting style called blind fighting. I have blind sight within a range of 10 feet. Within that range, you can effectively see anything. But moreover, you can see invisible creatures within that range. But all that mentions seeing. But I was figuring that maybe the blind fighting could be a nose thing, but I don't know how.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. Absolutely. Your other senses are so finely tuned, being a fox man, that it kind of factors in and kind of compensates for that. For sure. Yeah, I like that.
So, that being said, are there any other creatures within 10 feet of me that may have been hiding? Just to make sure we're not getting ambushed while we can't see.
There is another one that you smell on the night breeze that kind of comes up behind you. Yeah. And you hear a sound as it draws a little sword as well.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I want to position myself in such a way that I'm gonna use the little guy I'm holding as a shield, if that's possible. So I'm not hurting anyone, but
I love enemy meat
don't
shields.
know.
It's my favorite thing ever. Great.
yeah, I'm nervous to do anything too much while I can't see. So
All right. I love it. Yeah, so you are kind of turned towards the sound behind you. This little thing in your hand, you whip around in front of you. You feel its legs kind of kick against your chest for a second. Like it's still flailing about. Kind of noises coming out of it.
tell them to stop.
And is that your turn then?
I think so. I
Okay.
don't want to take any risks while I
Okay.
can't.
And perfect. All right. So Pem, you just ate grass. You can tell you can't see. Oh man, you must have hit your head harder than you thought, or maybe that booze is still hitting you. You're not entirely sure, but yeah, you can't see anything right now. You're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Mouthful of grass, my bad.
Yeah, right.
So I heard somebody come up behind me, and then the wink happened. Did I hear hear the little guy move?
You roll a perception check for me, please, because you don't have blind fighting. It's a really
No,
cool
I do
ability.
not. I am not that cool. But I have a great perception. That's a 23.
You do hear that it is moving away from you guys towards a tree line. Which tree line, you're not entirely sure. However, with that high of a check, I will say that, yeah, you are aware that it is moving away. And you would guess it to be towards the north. So basically like towards the right of you.
Okay.
Like over this area here.
I'm going to do something slightly reckless.
I expect nothing less. So
Sounds about right.
I'm going to feel my way. I'm going to say it like half speed, like feeling my way along the ground
Okay.
until I find the trunk of a tree.
Uh-huh.
Can I make a tree, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You now, do you get to your feet or are you crawling?
I'm crawling.
Okay, so you crawl up to the tree, and yeah, you get to the base of a tree. You feel the trunk of it, and you reach up, and yeah, you're definitely there at a tree.
Okay, I stand up. I like rub my thumbs together. It's just kind of a good luck charm. Rabbit's paw. Anyway, and I rabbit hop 15 feet up.
Oh, okay. Awesome, yeah. And then you kind of bound.
Relying on my acrobatics, even though I'm blind, to find a way to land in a tree.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I won't make you roll. You're pretty adroit at running and jumping and flipping and things like that. So yeah, you jump up and you land on a lower branch in the tree, so you're up in the tree. Yeah. And as you land in the tree, you kind of shake your head for a minute and your vision kind of comes back. There's like sparkling, that kind of motion that comes back in your vision to see again, and you can actually see Kaywin down on the ground where the two of you landed. You can see that this figure that was in front of the two of you is actually now directly beneath you. Apparently you crawled right past it and leaped up above it when you were getting to the tree line, and it looks up and it sees you. It almost like it's watching you to see something, and then as your gaze meets it realizes that you can see again, so its eyes narrow. And that is it for your turn. Issa, you are still blind for the time being, however.
Right.
So what would you like to do?
Though I'm blinded, I remain calm. I know that these guys are just little mischievous dudes. I also know that I'm very close because I came right up next to Racket to see if I could feel for the gem on this guy. So I'm just going to blindly reach out and just start trying to feel around and see if I can find this gem on him and still be of some use through my blindness.
All right. I love that. I'll have you make an investigation check at disadvantage if you don't mind.
Okay. Sorry, Racket, if I accidentally cop a feel.
That's what I was gonna miss.
Best way to get to know your party members.
So even at disadvantage, I had 2 really good rolls there.
Oh, good.
That's a 19.
Oh, wow. Awesome. I love that. Yeah. You feel around. Yeah, you do kind of go across Racket's face for a second. You do get up to where the little creature is. You do get a hold of the creature. You start patting across its chest, and you can tell the Racket has a hold of it in such a way that its arms are pinned, so you can feel its hands trying to do this thing at you. And you reach in, and you feel something. You would swear it's a vest, but it just feels almost like moss or something. You reach in and you pull out something into your hand. It's slightly warm. You're not sure what exactly. You're assuming it's a gem. You pull it out and you have a hold of it. And I will say, kind of in a meta sense, you have one of the gems in your hand now. Yes.
Okay. I'm holding it. I'm holding it up in the direction that I now for sure know that Racket is, because I just ran my hands across his little face. So sorry. And I say, is it a gem?
Can I see right now? Am I still blind too?
Yeah, your turn did go down, so yeah, you can see now. I apologize, I did not mention that. At the end of your turn, when you turned and everything, your vision did come back. Yeah, you see the one you have a hold. There is the one in front of you with the sword, looking at you like it's going to fight you. And yeah, now you see that Issa pulled the gem out and holds it up. It's a faint blue color, the one that she holds up.
Oh, great job, Miss Issa. You found the gem. Can I tell that your eyes are unfocused?
Yeah. You definitely know that I can't see shit right now. Like, I'm looking at you, but like above and like off to one direction,
right. Yes.
Holding the gem.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It would be like she'd have eye contact with a fellow wiloi, but since they're like a foot taller than you, yeah, it's like she's looking over your head. And it's in the right direction though, so definitely. I love it. And Kaywin, over on the ground over there by the other one where it was, what would you like to do?
I'll sell. I'm blinded. The damn thing blinded me. And really, there's really not a lot I can do. Being blinded, I will basically go into just a defensive position, I guess, because I don't know how long this blindness is going to last. So
sure,
I am going to sort of try to grab my shield off my back and sort of slide it back up and kind of just, crouch down and try to have an ear out to hear if I see anything or whatnot coming at me. And there's really not much that I can do.
Okay.
Being blinded, so I'm going to just, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you do. You get your shield back about yourself. You kind of go on the defensive a little bit, getting ready. And your vision, again, those sparkly bits in the corners of your periphery come back, and you get your sight back about you, and you see that, yes, Pem is up in a tree directly across from you. One of these things, probably the same one you're guessing by the way it looks, is down at the base of the tree looking up at him. And as your vision comes back, you see that creature that's looking up at him fades away. It turns invisible.
Oh,
That's not good.
dirty.
I will say, is anybody else afflicted? Pem, are you okay? Can you see?
I don't see him anymore.
Over by, so that one turns invisible, and then the one over by, the one that you have a hold of, I'll say, the racket, it tries to get out of your grasp, especially because Issa has one of the gems. If you could make an opposed athletics test to keep a hold of it, you won't need to roll very high. It rolls super low, and it has a -1. So you're trying to beat a 6.
Sure.
Me?
Oh no, I'm sorry, racket.
Oh.
Right now.
Okay.
I got a 12, but if I can, the gem is off. Do I feel like this guy's gonna cause this trouble? I'll probably just let him go, like toss him.
Okay. Okay, yeah, you just kind of toss him, and he kind of flies off to the side. He tumbles and comes up on his feet. That one that's down in front of you, the one who was going to attack you with the sword, it sees Issa holding the gem out in front of you. It runs forward and it goes to swing the sword, and you notice that as it's about to swing the sword, it actually, in that same motion, it kicks out at her shin. So Issa it's trying to hit you with a 12, which I'm sure will miss.
Yeah, I've got 12 armor class.
Oh, okay. So that will hit you. So yeah, you get kicked in the shin. Yeah, it stings a little bit, not enough to hurt a lot. You're gonna take 2 points of damage. Nothing drastic and crazy, but it's got that effect going on for sure. Yeah, that's what all the chop talk do. Racket, yeah, you let go of that one, yeah, and it's over like here now, and that one that was going to attack you is now here. It just kicked Issa in the shin, and it's looking at her like, what would you like to do?
Oh yeah, all right. I'm gonna. Can I want to try and intimidate it with my natural teeth.
Ferocity.
Yeah.
Cool.
To either to just cow it or to like, I don't know if it has a gem, but if it does, to I don't know, maybe make it drop it. I don't know.
Okay.
Little poop. I don't know. So I got a 12 on my intimidation.
Nice. What exactly do you say? What does this look like when you intimidate it? You just flex at it, or do you yell something at it?
I think I'm. What do the foxes say?
Yeah.
I try to make some sort of. I guess foxes more scream than growl, so I'm just gonna bare my teeth and scream and be like, "Drop the gems!" But it doesn't speak my language, so I don't know.
Yeah. You yell at it. It doesn't seem to comprehend what you're saying. It just looks back from Issa to you, back to Issa again. And I did forget. Let's have you do it now, kind of out of turn for a little bit. Issa, if you could, because you are currently hasting people, could you make a concentration check when you get kicked in the shin?
That's an 8 on the dice.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So those of you who were hasted are no longer hasted, unfortunately.
And then unfortunately, it means that we lose an action.
I was just going to say, so you do temporarily feel winded. You feel kind of short, out of breath, kind of lethargic for a second as that magic pulls out of you that little bit of adrenaline that you had. So that is that. So Pem, up in the tree, you see that thing below you go invisible. What do you want to do?
Right. So he disappeared right in front of me.
Well, yeah, like below you. Yep.
Right below me. All right. You want to play that? Fine. Reaches into his bag, pulls out a little satchel, opens it up, and just drops a 10-foot square of ball bearings from the tree down on top of this area. So,
All right. Awesome. I'm going to have it make a dexterity save as that happens. Because it actually did not move. Even though it's invisible, you're assuming it's in the same spot.
right.
We know looking at the map at home that it didn't move. So actually it makes a dexterity save. With a +3, it only gets a 7. That's a great roll. So yeah, as you drop the ball bearings, they bounce and kind of slam against the floor for a minute. Some of them shift, and then you see this thing, ass over tea kettle, just goes flying and lands on its back. And as it does, it becomes visible. It's like this little fish teeth looking like it's gritting its teeth, and just it didn't like that.
Okay, that was my action. My movement is I'm going to drop on top of him.
Awesome. And then you drop down out of the tree. Are you trying to land on him to like hurt him, or?
No. Well, hurt? No. More like pin.
Okay. So yeah, you'll drop down, and you kind of drop in a way that your feet are like straddled over him, and you reach down and kind of put your hands down on top of him. Just go ahead and make a strength or dexterity test, however you feel like you would be trying to
definitely take. Yeah, that's a. Oh wait, I'm at -1. That's a 19.
Okay. Yeah, you land down there, no problem. All right, so Issa, you are still blinded, but you know you have one of these gems.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still hear something going on. You just got kicked in the shin. You lost your concentration a little bit on your spell. What would you like to do next?
I'm gonna go ahead and pocket that gem.
Okay.
And hold on to that. And
Okay.
I feel pretty useless right now. There's not a lot I can do. I guess I'm gonna try to like. I know he's by me because he just kicked me, so I'm gonna try to like reach out and grab hold of him.
Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's do a athletics test at disadvantage because you're blinded.
Yep. This is gonna be great because I'm not strong either.
Try to beat an 11.
Yeah. Well, you try to beat it too.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh my gosh. And that's with a bonus? Oh my goodness.
No, my athletics is -1.
Oh, great. So is it at least. So at least you're okay on that. Yeah, you try to reach out for it. You just can't get a grip. You're not sure if it's moving or if it has moved or what's going on, but you just reach out blindly. You do have the gem secured into your gown, so that's good. You're not going to lose that or anything. Good to know. Kwyn, you do see that creature is visible now on top of the ball bearings on the ground. What would you like to do, Mr. Karevi?
Nothing. I don't have an action.
Yeah.
Give it 1 minute.
Yeah.
Just gotta catch my breath.
Yes.
That's what I do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you stop to catch your breath for a moment, and you can see the thing is starting to scramble up to its feet. Tries to anyway, because that's when Pem lands on top of it. It's pinning it there. Pem, it's trying to kick out, trying to buck itself out from underneath you. Go ahead and roll a strength test or athletics test if you have proficiency in athletics.
Hey, all right. With a -1 modifier, that's a 15.
Okay. It tries to buck out and get out from underneath you, and you just kind of force it back down. You pin it to the ground. It is not able to move. It's not going anywhere. As you do that, you see that there is that pink kind of gem that it had kind of tumbles out of its hand at this point and rolls across the grass and smacks up against the base of the tree. It is going to be the other creatures that are up. The one that's on Issa, because you're trying to grab at it, it's just going to try to smack your hand away. You're going to take 1 point. Well, I should see if that hits you first. 14? Yeah, because you said 12 hits you. Yeah. Yeah, so it just smacks your hand away. You take 1 point of bludgeoning damage as it just smacks your hand away. The other one that you threw, Racket, it is going to realize that you have its gem. It's going to turn and it's going to run off into the forest, and you see it disappear. You're not sure where it went.
That's fine.
So, Racket, with that, it is your turn. You see this one is kind of still picking on Issa a little bit.
Very rude. I wink and he goes blind. I'm gonna just try to grab this one. It worked the first time. It's gonna work again. This will be fine.
Sure. Athletics test, please. Oh boy, they are rolling terrible on this. 4, you got to beat.
Oh, 13, easy.
Okay. So yeah, as it's messing with Issa, smacks her hand away, it's kind of, you just reach down with one hand, grab it up by the back of its shirt made out of leaves, and you heft it up off the ground. You have a hold of it.
Leave Miss Princess Issa alone. I'm trying to be respectful.
Mm-hmm. And then it will be Pem's turn. You're on top of that guy. Like I said, you saw the gem fly out. That little pink gem flies out off to the side.
I imagine at this point, the creature and I share a look at the gem, and then I'll look at each other.
Yep.
And then I kick off of him, and bonus action disengage. Run over, pick up the crystal, turn around at him, and strike a pose and let the cloak billow.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. And yeah, as you pick up the gem and you snatch it up, it glows. As you grab a hold of it, the cloak billows. You look very heroic, very dapper, very debonair. And
Very
Issa,
delicious.
yeah, that too, absolutely. So Issa, you are still blinded, unfortunately. Yep. You're about halfway through this effect, roughly. What would you like to do? You heard Racket come up and grab him and say, "Hey, that's enough," or whatever it was Racket said. So.
Right, and I imagine the creature's making that horrible "I've been caught" sound again.
Yeah. Right,
yeah.
yes.
So she, again, is going to just blindly stick out her hands and start feeling
Okay.
for another gem.
I love it. I love it.
That was an investigation roll, right, with disadvantage?
Yes, I believe, and correct me if I am mistaken, gang. Don't you already have the gem from this creature?
No, that's the other one. The gem, the first gem we took, that one ran away.
Oh, okay. I'm giving you guys credit for an extra gem. You guys have 2 gems right now, not 3.
We have 2.
You have 2. Okay. I have written down that you have 3 gems already. So wow, you guys should just be like, oh yeah, we got it.
We could potentially have 3 gems in just a minute.
You guys are so honest, and I love that. Thank you very much for keeping me on track. See, this is why your creeples love you, creep, because you're so honest like that. I love it. All right, so go ahead. Investigation check at disadvantage. Yep.
Okay. All right, 14.
Yeah, you find another gem. This one's like in a belt pouch pocket thing that it has. You pull it out, and you're still blinded, so you don't see. But Racket, you're going to see this one's like a green kind of color as she pulls it out.
I'm doing the same thing. I'm like holding it up, but like looking above you.
Yes, exactly.
The blind one has the most crystals. It's so perfect.
Amazing. And yes, you have 2. I'll assume for the rest of your turn you'll pocket this one away too, so they're together. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Alrighty. So there is one more somewhere, but you're not sure what that's all about. That was Issa's turn. Kaywin, you caught your breath. You're not blinded. You've got your bearings about yourself now. You see that Pem has gotten the crystal from this thing. It's kind of clambering up to its feet to try to look around. It looks like it's mad. It's maybe going to chase after Pem to try to get that crystal back. What do you want to do, though?
I am going to... man... I have just the worst spells for all of this.
Yes!
Just all the worst spells. I am going to go over to Pam. How long does this last? All right, good. So I am going to go over to Pam, and I will touch him It looks like we're touching each other a whole hell of a lot tonight. I will give him guidance.
Oh.
So that he has that for his coming up next. And then since I know we have the gem from this one, and I don't know what's going on in the back there, and they seem like they're messing around, I am going to travel back here to see if I can help.
All right.
I'm assuming that that's going to take pretty much my action.
Yeah, that'll be the duration of your turn. Yeah, doing that, you get a little bit of a boost there, Pem, as you feel him cast it upon you, and then he runs over to help the others. And
today's been really up and down.
yeah, right. It's been very different. And in that moment, Pem, does a 19 hit your armor class?
I mean, I'm a rogue, so yeah.
All right.
That's
You are going to take 1 point of piercing damage. Please make a Constitution saving throw as you see one of these creatures appears in this tree over here. Because of the fact it attacked you, it's no longer invisible.
You sneak attack me, you little punk. Constitution save?
Yes, please.
That's a 16.
Okay. You are fine. You take the 1 point of damage, and that's all that happens. You can tell by the way it pierces you, because you are a bloody dart, you have familiarity with poisons, because the blood darts are actually trained assassin killer people. How you have that training, that will remain to be seen, because you're not really one of them per se. But we'll get to that later. But you are familiar with poisons and things like this. So you could tell it tried to poison you. You're too strong for that. You'd shake it off with your mighty hair stamina. So you're fine with that. But you do see that thing though. So Racket, it is your turn. We're back to the top. Let's see what happens. What do you want to do?
Can I even see Pem from where I am? Or is the forest obstructing him? I just don't know.
Yeah, I would say he's obstructed. You can't make him out.
So I'm still holding this guy. I'm gonna put him under my arm. And I see
right.
as Kaylin runs up, I'll be like, where's Pem?
Is that a question?
Yeah, Kaylin, where's Pem?
He's back in the trees. Back there, we got we got a gem off of one of those things. How are you holding up here?
Well, Miss Issa is blind. We have 2 gems, one blue one and one brown one. I am red-green colorblind, so because I'm a fox. So it's one blue one brown one, and so there's just one more, right? Just one more. Okay. Can I? I guess I'll throw this guy too, and then I'm gonna go head the way that Kaylin came to try and find Pem.
Okay. Love it. Yeah, so you move through the trees over in that direction. You get to here, we'll say. And when you get over there, you do see Pem is in the trees. He is looking around. You see his gaze is locked over towards, I'm going to call it the west of this area. And you follow his gaze. You can see that there's one of these creatures up in a tree, and it lowers a stick that can best be described as a blowgun down. And you see it's kind of messing around trying to get another dart out of a little bandolier it's got on its side to reload the thing. Pem, it's your turn though, however.
So we're gonna run up to this tree, and we're gonna do our second I said bunny, but it's a rabbit hop.
Of course, yeah.
So I vertically jump 15 feet,
Nice.
land in the tree. I am going to. Would you call that 20 feet?
The distance between the two trees, I would say be a little bit closer than that. We'll say 15, another 15 for that.
Okay.
But I think we're going to see some shenanigans here.
We are.
Okay, cool.
We're going to see Pem, think about what Racket said earlier. And Racket being really good at darts is a little bit of a sting to a bloody dart. So he's going to try to prove to himself. Okay. So he's going to flip a dagger out, and he's going to chuck a dagger at this thing with the called shot of hitting the blow dart gun. Not the creature.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, cool. Go ahead and roll it.
So that and my...
Does my guidance help with that? Hold on. Ability check. Add the number roll to one ability check. No, never mind.
It's a great thought, though.
That's a 24 to hit.
Yeah. So you take the dagger, you look, you size it up for a minute, maybe do one of these. And you toss it, and it flies forward. And right as this thing gets the dart up and it pulls the blow dart back up, your dagger goes right into the end of it, and it flies and spirals out of its hand, and it disappears into the foliage. Its face does like it was not expecting that at all. And so yeah, you hit it though, and Isa's still in the dark, unfortunately, over on your side. You've got two of these gems. You could tell Kaywin is up behind you. Nothing seems to be attacking you right this minute. This guy's actually moved a little back to move. He's like over here where he got tossed as well. So what would you like to do?
I imagine she doesn't exactly know where Kaywin is, but she has a vague idea. So again, looking in his direction, but not at him, likely over him and off to one side. I'm so sorry, Kaywin. I couldn't be of more use right now. I have been blinded by these creatures, unfortunately. And that's my turn. That's all I got.
Okay.
So neither of them are looking at each other.
Right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
his gaze is averted and hers is over. Yes, it's all kinds of awkward. Yes, definitely.
The pinnacle of awkward has been reached between us.
That's right.
Exactly. Kaywin, yeah, you could tell she's still blinded. So,
Lady Viddaughter, if I may, and if you'll permit me, may I touch you?
Yes, but please call me Isa.
I'll work on that, Lady Viddaughter, and I will I will lay a hand on her in the most, respectful way possible,
of
and
course,
I will.
Yes.
I will cure her deafness with my lesser restoration.
Okay. Isa, you finally get your bearings about yourself. You can feel magic flow through you, divine in nature, and your vision does finally come back. And it's jarring for a second, even though you guys are in the dark of a forest at night. It seems bright. You're still like, oh, I gotta have to focus yourself. But yeah, you can see again, which is great.
Beautiful.
So that Chop Talk that you just took away his blowgun, Pem, he realizes that you guys are tough. He is going to actually jump down out of the tree he's in, so he doesn't really go anywhere. He just kind of drops down, and as he lands on the ground, he turns invisible again.
Oh, you nasty little creatures.
And this other one that Racket threw is going to turn, and it's going to run much like the other one that you threw did. It's going to turn and run and disappear into the foliage as well. There is that one that was over here in the center where Kaywin and Pem first got kind of dodged from, that Pem had pinned. It does the same thing, runs off into the trees. So you're not sure. They seem to be retreating for some reason, but Racket, from where you're standing, you did see that thing drop down. You did see that thing turn invisible. You see Pem kind of, oh man, or whatever it was he just yelled out. What do you want to do? You have your blind fighting stuff still, so maybe this will make a difference here. We're not sure.
I'd probably just start running directly towards the tree that I saw. And how far can I go? About there?
Yeah, you get to about there on a single move.
Okay. I'll dash.
Okay. You get up to
just
the base of the
close.
tree where the creature just dropped down.
Like, I'm out.
Are you trying to intimidate as you're running forward? You're trying to be like, "Roar!"
Well, yeah, I'll
cool,
do some
cool.
gnashing teeth. Like, I'm gonna eat ya.
Yeah. Cool. Do an intimidation check for me.
Nice. So that one is an 8.
An 8. Sweet. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Alrighty. Pem. What do you want to do?
He sees Racket run up and he's like, well, fine. He's going to attempt a acrobatical hop from one tree to another and land in the tree that Mr. Invisible just dropped out of.
Okay. Make an athletics test for me real quick, just to be sure. If you roll like super low, you're going to fall, but you'll be fine probably.
Could it be acrobatics?
Yeah, why not?
Well, one is -1 and one is 11, so...
Yeah, I'll let... I can see why you want to use the other. Yeah, you can go and do acrobatics. That's fine. It's the same idea. 23, yeah. Yeah, you get over into the tree, you do a nice front aerial flip and land in the other tree. Absolutely.
Nice.
All right, Racket, get him.
Issa, from where you are, you can now see around what's going on. You can see that the others have run off. The ones that you were engaged with are no longer to be seen. You look at Kaywin. He looks like he's had a little bit of an ordeal, but he looks like he is strong and resolute next to you. What do you do?
I'm going to go ahead and start making my way over to the other two to see if I can be of any help. I guess I'll dash over there and go as far as I can.
Okay. You get to about 15 feet away from them, roughly, and moving the distance between the area. And Kaywin, you will be right behind her to do your turn.
Yeah, I'm going to follow and up there. As I run up to them, I'll go, how many do we have?
Issa has 2.
I don't know. I got 1.
This should be our last one.
3, yeah.
Are we holding this person? Is that this
No.
thing?
There's an invisible one.
There's an invisible one.
Yeah, it's just him and Rocket looking at at the base of the tree where there isn't anything.
There's really nothing I can do about that. There is tons of stuff I could do, but I didn't take those spells. So, here we are. I will, actually, I will use thaumaturgy to make my voice boom up to 3 times as loud as normal. And in doing so, I will attempt what Racket was trying earlier, but instead of trying to intimidate, I will instead try to deceive using the thaumaturgy to actually, instead of making the voice loud, since I'm not trying to intimidate, I'm going to use it to cause a rumble of thunder or some ominous whisper, something like that, some noise around it. And then I will try to use my persuasion or deception, whatever you think is preferable. And I will say, all your friends are gone and we have their gems. It would behoove you to give us this last gem that we may be away and not be forced to hurt you.
Okay. Go ahead and make a persuasion test, please.
Right, y'all.
Pem comes this close to going, but we weren't supposed to hurt them.
So 1723.
Okay. There is a pause. You're not sure because the thing's invisible, and then you suddenly see that appears seemingly out of the thin air a purplish gem that just kind of onto the ground, just kind of appears from out of the air and lands on the ground.
I will pick it up, and can I just say that the voice that came out of Kaywin's mouth when he was doing that, like, was just filled with that sort of darkness and duplicitous nature that usually the karevi have, that he usually really does not have, but it like just sort of came out kind of very naturally, and you can see that he's a little sort of taken aback by the sound of his own voice, and so when it works, he'll bend down and he'll pick up the gem, and still without really looking at her, he'll hand it over to Issa.
Yeah. Issa, he doesn't quite look at you, but you do notice that when he hands you the gem that he has gotten from this thing, you look, and because you were so you noticed the sound of the voice so much, how it sounded so unlike the way he's been talking to you thus far. When you look upon his face, you can see as he looks away, it's even more pained almost. His eyes, which are the typical karevi, all black, they seem to be even deeper, almost these abyssal like pools, like something dark has kind of reached forward and channeled through him. But I assume, I don't want to assume with your character that you don't make a scene of this or anything, but just something that you notice that this happens.
No, I think as she takes the gem from him, she'll say, well done, Kaywin. And
Okay.
kind of tuck it away with the other two that she has.
Kaywin will just sort of, still looking away, kind of mumble something, and then kind of walk away a little bit and just gather his wits.
As you finish gathering up the gems, you have all four together in this general proximity. You all look to one another and you see that the forest starts to shimmer, much like it did when you all arrived in this area. And as it shimmers and dissolves away, you all four find yourselves back in the chamber that you first spoke with Althane. And he is standing off to the side. He has a small glass in his hand that seems to have just the slightest little line of that magical alcohol that Pem got to see firsthand so well. And he looks at the four of you. Expertly done. I must admit, I expected it to go a little bit quicker for you, but the end result was still the same. I am happy and pleased with the outcome of this. It is good that you have retrieved these gems, for you will need them in the next step of the journey. So, let us get the full effect of what it is we're dealing with. I promised you that much. The artifact that we seek is an item that is located in one of the other four of the Triad Islands. The different archmage who resides over the city of Nu, the administrative center, is where you will find, beneath one of its towers, a magical vault that they guard beneath that section of the city. Within, guarded by traps and perhaps guardians alike, you will find the item that you seek. It is an astrolabe, a device that is used to study the heavens and the stars. This specific device you will note it by its platinum makeup, as well as the lenses within it seem to cascade with impossible colors. The astrolabe, known as the Mage Discordance, will be what you will need to retrieve. But know this, the artifact has its own protections of sorts. It was created at a time before the sun set, and therefore it may react differently to the moonlight than typical artifacts that we find. It came to this land, to this earth, as part of one of the meteors that fell from the heavens, an outcome of the Celestial War. But it may turn the tide against the upcoming strife against the tyrant if it is retrieved. The reason why there is danger fraught in this quest is that it does reside beneath the other island's vault, and therefore I can offer you no sort of, dare I say, immunity to the laws and the punishments over there if you are caught. Also, I can offer no sort of claim to your duties if you are apprehended. You must retrieve the item seemingly alone, or it may upset the balance of the triad here in the Mageocracy. Since you have proven yourselves, shall we perhaps make it into a pact? Shall we send the four of you henceforth right away? I can secure your passage to the island of Nu, but you must seek out the rest of the way yourselves.
I will bow my head and I will do what I can to bring this astrolabe back to you, Archmage.
I thank you. And what of you, Mr. Pemblebrook?
You said vault. I'm in.
Better good.
Racket will step up closer behind Kaywin and clasping a hand on one of his shoulders, and like probably the far one to kind of give a buddy hug. He knows he doesn't like doing the karevi thing. He's just like and give Sir Archmage a curt nod, being like, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Finally, Althane will turn to you, Issa. Are you satisfied with this group that you have put together?
I am. I think they will do well.
She didn't even see me steal anything.
I
Didn't
will
see me hurt
remain.
anyone.
I will remain ignorant to any sort of training you have in that regard, so that I may have plausible deniability. Issa, this group is yours. I can secure you to the island of Nu through my magics, but then you will be, as I mentioned, on your own. There must be, and I will, of course, reiterate this, there can be no connection to my interference with this. The triad is very tenderly balanced, and the Mageocracy depends on the three forces of the Archmages to work in complete unison. If they were to learn that I have been responsible in sending the four of you, it may upset that balance, and actually may have detriment to the upcoming strife. Can I trust your discretion in this, everyone?
As always, Althane.
Can I be the asshole who does an insight check just to try and get a read off of the Archmage, see if he's holding anything back or
I don't think that makes you an asshole at all. And since we're playing in a nice grimdark setting and this guy's kind of giving you a shady job, I think that totally makes sense. Yeah, go ahead. Actually, if anybody would like to roll that, they can. I will let you go ahead and roll that.
Pem's used to people claiming they don't know him.
Aha.
So
I feel like Issa's known this man for so long that she wouldn't question him like this.
I mean, I do have
And she's pretty excited about this job, even though she doesn't show it.
No, that's a 6. I don't know.
6, okay.
24.
24. Ooh.
I don't even think I can get to 24.
24.
Are you doing one as well, Racket? Or no?
Yeah, I rolled as
Okay.
well. I got a 21. Not as good.
Okay.
You two, Jesus.
So both Racket and Kaywin, you are aware that he seems to not be telling you all the full truth, but he doesn't have anything sinister about his words. It's not like he's trying to lead you into a trap or make you be scapegoats for anything. It's basically just he is telling you what you guys need to know in order to get the job done. But he does seem like he's very sincere in speaking about the fact that, yes, there is a balance and he needs to kind of protect his station and make sure that nothing happens with that. So again, he's not telling you everything, but it's not in a malicious way. It's not like he's trying to trick you guys. It's just he doesn't want to. It seems almost like the attitude that he gives off is he doesn't want to. I don't want to say confuse because that sounds like he's maybe belittling you guys, but he doesn't want to give you guys more information than necessary to cloud the job.
Okay. Kill Archmage first opportunity. Sorry.
Sure. Yes. Definitely. Alrighty. So since you all are agreed, he will look to the four of you and say, if you need any time to prepare, you may do so. Otherwise, I can send you post haste.
One question.
Of course.
Can I get my dagger and ball bearings back?
He gets a grin and he gestures, and there is a table that's in the room now that didn't seem to be there before. And on it is your dagger and your pouch of ball bearings. They're all back in the pouch. Even though the pouch was on your person, the pouch is now sitting on the table. It seems to be full.
That's wicked, man. He'll go over and grab me.
It'd be really cool if you could have a pouch that does that, like that puts all the ball bearings back when you're done.
That would
you know?
be that'd be sick. That would be sick.
Does Ratchet say that out loud?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be like that would clean that. That would make it so much easier for you to trip people.
You get a look from Pem like he's not sure if you're real. Like he's just astonished. That's amazing. We could call it like ball bearing return bag.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We should get it. We should start a business.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm seeing a post-arc idea here. Interesting.
Don't
Excellent.
let
So,
Pem make the titles. Just don't do that. Don't,
right.
don't let him name stuff.
Alrighty, so the four of you are together on this. Do you have anything you want to do to prepare? We'll do a quick little montage, as it were. Any sort of preparations you guys all need to take? You can go ahead and narrate real quick, briefly, what you want to do before you send off. We'll just kind of go around the table here. Is there anything? I'll go kind of in reverse order that we've kind of been dealing with stuff. So, Pem, is there anything you would like to do to get yourself ready? Or are you pretty much good to go?
I could use a magical refresh.
Oh, I see. Does it require a short rest or a long rest?
Long rest.
I see. Well, that would be up for the group to decide if how long you guys want to wait. But is there anything else you want to do more immediate with anything?
Yeah, actually, Pam's gonna go over to Issa, pull out the golden chalice that he stole, and go, listen, just in case you hold on to this, if we do something where we're not known anymore, that means you'll know we were here. Something.
Issa has a look of confusion on her face, but still nods to him.
Yeah, so you know that we were here even though if we get caught, we're not here. We were here.
She's doing math in her head.
Right.
Of course.
Right, anyway, cool. And walks away.
Excellent. Leaving you a little bit confused, but, maybe excited about the prospect.
She puts the goblet in her pack.
Nice. How about you, Racket? What would you like to do in the interim real quick? What do we see in your preparation montage? If this were a caper, so to speak, this is your section of the let's get ready to go, guys thing
absolutely.
here.
I mean, I think I think Racket would suggest that we take the night to prepare and sleep on it, whatever. So after we leave the Archmage, he's going back to the bar. He's gonna play up a little bit more. It's been a great day. Everything's gone really well. So yeah, it's time to party a little bit before he might get put in jail and no one will vouch for him. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna live it up.
Yeah, so you you spend a night of revelry, I guess, forcing everyone's hand to have to wait until the next day to go. And that's, I guess, how these things work out when you're in a party of individuals with different mindsets. But yeah, you take some time, you party it up. You don't suspect there's going to be anything really drastic that's going to happen with this job, but why not live in the moment if you can, So, yeah, you do just that. And you will eventually, when the night begins to end and it begins to come daytime, you kind of go to bed a little bit later than typical, but you're still going to get a full night's rest out of that. Meanwhile, a figure who has a very different mindset to preparation, what are we going to see Kaywin do in these moments, the fleeting moments of the night here before you all go on this journey tomorrow?
Oh, he's going to ask if, I don't know if we're staying until the morning, if they're going to put us up or if we go back to wherever we normally go. But either way, he's going to try to find some time to be alone, basically, say that he just needs to freshen up or whatever. Think a little bit and refocus to, re-prepare his spells and what have you. But what he's going to do is once he has a little bit of time alone, he is going to pull from his pack this flail that he has, which is not a weapon flail. It is really a self-inflicting wounds kind of flail. It's just like a bunch of kind of more like a cat o' nine tails, but with like, kind of almost barbed wiry tails. And he's going to, thinking again of that sound in his voice and that the sort of duplicitousness that filled his voice earlier when he used that on the goblin. He's going to give himself a break because he knows that he did it for a good purpose and all that, but he still kind of gave in to that. So he's just going to wrap his hand in that sort of sharp flail, and he's just going to squeeze his hand, and he's going to think about it, and he's going to remind himself what that voice sounded like and how much it upsets him and disgusts him, and he's going to just squeeze his hand really hard around that thing, and then when he's done, he's going to unwrap it and clean it up, and then pull his leather little wrap around it again, and once that's done, he'll feeling a little bit better about it, he'll spend the rest of his time just getting some rest and relearning the rest of his spells. I'm going to switch some spells around and all that, so he's going to take some time to do that.
Absolutely. And I would like to believe, Kaywin, in the way that your faith finds you, in the way that you interact with the world, the self-inflicted pain, the punishment is nothing compared to the punishment that the world takes on by the fact that the sun no longer rises, that the fact that the people that walk the land here are perched in eternal darkness, in a sort of eternal ignorance as to their true purposes because of mistakes that were made in the past. So even though it hurts, you put that pain aside and you do kind of take that on as part of the onus of being who you are and trying to put forth the different mentalities that you have about where exactly as a karevi you can fit into the world. And yeah, so it's with a sort of sense of purpose and renewed judgment that you go about your burdens and you will prepare for the next day.
I will.
And finally, what does Issa do to prepare?
I believe that because her and Ulthane seem to work so closely together, that she probably has her own study within the tower, her own little room, and she would retire there for the remainder of the evening. Her room would be much like Ulthane's, where it is very simple. It's a room of necessity and not opulence. She would probably pack a bag of her give me 1 second, my bad. Of her astronomer's tools, her star maps. She would also collect a few spell scrolls she has around and a potion and collect those in preparation for things that might come. And she would spend the rest of the evening in her study quietly reading over all the things that she knows, all the knowledge that the wiloi and the mages have collected about this cataclysmic event that is foretold by this meteor, and then she would rest so she can regain her spell slots for the journey.
Absolutely. And as you do these preparations, looking over your notes, studying the star charts and studying the information that you have about the meteor in question, if you could go ahead and make a investigation check for me, please, with advantage.
Okay. That is a 24.
As you look over your notes, and again, you study the bits of the prophecy that you do know, what you have been told, you look over different star charts, as you mentioned, you look over different equipments that you have to analyze such things, and you can see that there is a certain pattern with the meteors. They seem to be coming more frequently, and it does seem to be that this one that has most recently been seen falling towards the desert to the south is one that wasn't any larger than any other ones, but does seem to have a certain mention. You definitely, like Ulthane, believe this is the one that is going to bring about a change, as it were. And as you are looking through your notes, you try to look into what the Mage Discordance might be, because he did call the astrolabe that by name. And the research that you do discovers that the Discordance is actually from the time before. It's from the old land. It's from before the wiloi were forced to flee their world and come to this one. So you do know that, like he said, it will have different abilities, different effects that most people would be used to. Something that you notice in the notes, however, that's very interesting to you is that it speaks that the astrolabe directly has connections to defenses. Like, it seems that part of what it does, in addition to being an astrolabe, being able to analyze stars and everything with it, it actually has a different ability, a different purpose. It's used in some sort of defensive capability, which might have sort of bearing as to why they might want it, which makes sense. But a note that you find that really strikes you as kind of a bit fortuitous, but also a bit ominous, is that the Mage Discordance was actually a device that was created by someone not from your world. The Mage Discordance is an item that was actually crafted by a mage, an archmage, whose name was Nagistar. And Nagistar, you know, later became a being known as the Tyrant. So it would seem that this person that you are trying to stop in the greater scheme of things is actually responsible for crafting this item. And it does make note that because of that, there may be certain other effects that might be specific to a wiloi who wields it. So what this might mean for you is a bit of a question as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So as the four of you rest, secure yourselves, get ready to face the next leg of your journey, it is going to be in the last moments of what we would consider the day, the night for folks of Near, that everyone will get their rest and be ready for the next leg of the journey. There will be in your dreams, Issa, you will find that there is, again, visions of a distant land, of a cabal of mages trying to stand against a lone figure. And in this vision, much like we saw in the opening of today's session, there is that moment where they stand off against one another and the mages aren't quite strong enough. You see that in amongst these mages this time are not all wiloi faces. They are faces of people of different races from here across Near. And you actually start to wonder if maybe this dream, when you awaken in a bit of a, pun intended, cold sweat, that this might not be entirely a vision of the past. So, let us go ahead and conclude our journey for tonight's episode right there. And let's say goodnight to everybody for the time being. We will be back next week for part 2 of this journey. It's going to be a nice 3-part journey. We'll be back next week, and then we'll have another episode after that. So, again, this was Notte Eterna. This was episode 1 of the Mage Discordance, which is going to be a 3-part arc here. We're going to be back every Friday, 9 to midnight, as you've seen us play here tonight. I want to say thank you to everybody who watched. All you, let's see, I almost messed it up. I almost called them creeplets. What is
Creeple.
Creeples? I love it. That's so amazing. You think I would remember that? I will remember it now, though. Creeples, thanks for hanging out. Everybody who was watching, thanks for hanging out. I will give a little bit more information about Notte in just a moment. But first, I want to have these awesome players go around, remind you who they are, tell you what else they do, because they just didn't appear here tonight for the first time. These folks are talented people who do lots of different stuff. So let's go around in the order that we see them on the screen. Let's start with my good buddy, Bleak Season. Hi, Bleak. Tell everybody what all you do out there, man, because you are a master of the trade. And what do you do? Where can they find you?
I don't know about being a master of anything, but, you know, I do try. My name is Bleak Season. You can find me at the Bleak Season on Twitter and a bunch of other places. I am usually running things over at Guild Superior, currently running a Shadowrun game on Thursday nights over there with Tim, amongst other people. I also run games on my own channel, the Bleak Season, where I have a mouse guard game coming up starting Monday, which Kay will be in. So I'm really looking forward to playing. That's going to be a two-parter with some amazing people in it. And there was one more thing I wanted to say. Tomorrow on Wanderer's Haven, with Miko, who is producing this particular thing, we are doing a one-shot in his World of Eterna tomorrow night over at Wanderer's Haven. So we'll be there, also super busy. And then all the other stuff we do at Guild Superior, which is Greyhawk on Tuesdays, and tons of other things coming up. So thank you so much for the invite, and I had a great time tonight, and I will keep averting my gaze from creep for as long as I can.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Bleak, it's always great to see all the different stuff that you do. Guild Spirit, a friend of ours, who does lots of great stuff. And, you know, your channel's great, too. Lots of cool stuff. I may have been on there playing some Blade Runner.
You may have been there, and you may be there again.
I may be there again. Yeah, so, thank you so much, Bleak. It's great to share the table with you, as I mentioned.
Absolutely, man, as always.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on over to, you know her, you love her, you will especially love her as she grows to do more with Issa here. Darling Creep Show, thank you so much for playing. This was awesome to share the table with you again. Creep and I only played together before, so to run a game for you, this has been a real treasure. So
this has been super fun. I'm so excited that you thought of me to come and do this. I really enjoy the opportunity. Thank you, Kevin. And awesome people all across the board. You guys have been so much fun so far. I love this. I'm Darling Creep Show. I'm your resident creep on Twitch, and you can find me miniature painting Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be working some more on the red chromatic dragon. I've got 5 of those to paint right now on the books. A lot. So come hang out. We'll listen to the jukebox and paint. It's a good time.
It is a good time. Yeah. Thank you so much for playing. Like I said, this was a real treat. You're just a cool presence to be playing with. So thank you.
Oh, thank
Appreciate
you.
Being here. Moving down below to Tim. Hey, buddy. Thanks for hanging out again. Yeah, Tim and I have played many things. We played a Mothership game that was honestly highlight of my gaming career. I'm not going to lie. We had a great, cool character connection at that. So much fun. So much fun. Tell us what else you're up to. I mean, we know you're playing on the other channel, but what else are you doing too?
Yeah, so next week, Wednesday, I'm over on Rainbows and Razor Blades for a finale of World of Bren, where I'm an 8-foot tall snake guy. Who's in a whole lot of trouble, so nothing new. Thursdays, I'll be over on Guild Superior with Bleak running us through a Shadowrun, where I'm playing a physical adept, sort of surfer guy. He's just clueless. It's fun. And then I'm back here on Friday night, so I have 3 nights in a row next week. That'll be fun.
Yes.
And you can find me on Twitter at BlackMaFlan, and I'm around. I'll be all over the place at some point. I'm already all over the place, but I'll be. I know where I'll be on Sunday. I will be over down the Creep Show, watching and listening with pleasure. Is what I will.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tim. Lots of great stuff you're involved in. With is no surprise to me. So thanks for being here, though. It's great to play with you again. And finally, Kay, hello. How are you? Thanks so much for hanging out. Tired? Yes.
Oh yeah, so I guess I should go through the little spiel. I'm Kay, or Kate and Cosmos. I do art stuff, like improv and theater and graphic design stuff and drawing stuff, and then games like this. I also run trivia, free online trivia on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Sly Fox Trivia. So that's fun. And yeah, so I'm going to be in the Mouse Guard game with Bleak season. I'm coming up. I'm going to also be, I'm in this. I'm also going to be in an Alien one-shot, which I'm very excited. I don't get to do much body horror stuff, so let's go. What else? I'm probably going to be in another Eterna game on the Wanderer's Haven sometime soon. I'm usually on, so Wanderer's Haven, Guild Superior, La Notte now, Bleak Seasons channel. So a lot of places. And yeah, you can find me at Kin Cosmos if you need me for anything. That's it.
Excellent. Yeah, so great to have you. Yeah, these have been 4 amazing players. I hope that you fell in love with them as much as we've fallen in love with them. They'll be back next week. I am Kevin. I was your humble game master. I can be found online at the socials at KevRan Games. I am the U.S. ambassador for Eterna and the main dungeon master here on the channel. So if you like what we have done, come back again. Check out lots of cool stuff. There's links below on the link tree, as well as in the I'm going to steal a Matt Coble thing, the gobbledygook down below, where you can see you can get a sample of the quick start guide. So you can they just redid it, a whole new layout, new art. It looks really, really cool. You can play your own adventures in Nier, and there might be a reference that we just made today that might have to do with that quick start. Let's see if you go ahead and go get it. It's free. Go ahead and go get it and see if you can see what we're doing. But yeah, lots of cool stuff. We have other episodes also on our YouTube channel. You can see previous arcs that we did. We've got 2 under the belt already. Both really cool stuff. Bleak's in one. So check that out. But yeah, we're going to be here every Friday doing cool games. There'll be some other stuff coming up too soon. If there's anything anybody wants to do, there's a Discord. Again, there's a link down below for all of this stuff. So you don't have to be a stranger. Come hang out with us. We'll be back next week. Before we go, I want to do a quick thank you to Ali Rebelli for publishing the game. It will be out early next year. You can get in on the pre-order now on Backer Kit. Again, that's down below. And also Jason Forbes, creator of the game, for entrusting me with its lore and with its presentation here in the US. I also want to thank Miko, who's floating around in the ether, being the producer. He made the really cool custom art overlays and stuff, and he's just handling all the hard stuff that I don't have to deal with. So thank you, Miko. You are the man. And also want to thank everybody out there who is watching. You're why we do it. I want to thank Tabletop Audio for the really cool sounds that you've heard, and the map from Neutral Party, which is also floating around as well. Before we go tonight, want to let you know we're going to raid cool folks. We're going to be raiding Fuzka, who's out there playing some cool games. They're really cool. Lots of cool stuff. So enjoy that, please. So we'll see you all next week, where we will do part 2 of the Mage Discordance. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and remember, may the moon smile upon you. Good night, one and all.
I like that. That's good. Yeah.